Like I'm being a bit quiet for some reason. Give me one moment. I may need to bump up the volume here. All right, hopefully this is a bit better. All right, let me know how the volume's feeling, but should be okay for now, and that's really what matters. So we are going to be going over to Division A, Crit Kickers versus Magnitude Epicenter today, and this should be a pretty fun series today. This is the Div A Semi-Final. Now, I got to cast the other one, but so this is going to be kind of the extension of that. Now, if we take a quick look over at the standings, I mean, Crit Kickers, they were first with 34 points, while Magnitude Epicenter, they were in fifth with 24. So they did make the playoffs, but definitely going to be a little bit different for them. Now, same time, let's take a quick look over at our playoff bracket. Now, the winner of this will be playing Came From Behind in the finals, as they did manage to take down Can't Pause, Won't Pause. But Crit Kickers, they had a pretty solid win versus Gen M Esports. They were able to take that advantage for themselves. As Magnitude Epicenter, they 3-0'd the High Inquisitor. So far, neither of these teams have dropped a single game in the playoffs. And gonna be interesting to see how that matchup does work here. Volume's okay. Music at the same level. Yeah, no, I've been changing some settings around, and I think that's kind of what's messing up. Let me check if it might even be Windows. Yeah, I apologize for the little bit of an issue here. No, it should be good. Okay, just need to raise the gain. Okay, how about now? This should definitely be it. This looks like it's at around the same level as it was before. Okay, perfect. But yeah, we have this playoff bracket, and the map pick has already come through. I did forget to send the update button, though, so works out. But these are the bans. It's going to be Crit Kickers, who chose map pick. So first pick is going to be going over to Magnitude Epicenter. But they did ban away Tomb of the Spider Queen and Battlefield of Eternity. Whereas Magnitude Epicenter, they ban out Volskaya Foundry and Braxis Holdout. And map number 1 is going to be the Infernal Shrines. So pretty big map to be playing here. And I mean, this is going to be one of those maps where Hogger is going to be super strong. Stuff like the Tassadar, which I know Delta Sniper loves to play, is definitely going to be a little bit of an issue coming forward for Crit Kickers. But I mean, at the same time, these are both really strong teams. Magnitude Epicenter, I've cast quite a few of their games just because the scheduling has happened to work out. But for Crit Kickers, I believe I've cast them once, maybe twice. They're a really solid team. There's a reason why they were first place in the division. There's a reason why they hit the amount of points that they did. But it looks like both teams are about to be ready to get going. So the map number 1 should be getting started very shortly with Crit Kickers versus Magnitude Epicenter on Infernal Shrines. All right, and here we are. We are on Infernal Shrines, and this is where the draft is going to begin. This is where things get fun. Now, I am curious what these picks are going to end up being. I mean, like I said, I know Delta Sniper really likes those mages, really likes to play both the Tassadar, the Chromie, and both of them are very strong picks over on Infernal Shrines. So, depending on how many of them will get picked, I mean, not too much we could do about that, but Stitch is going to be the first ban for Crit Kickers, as the Brightwing has already been banned by Magnitude Epicenter. And we saw in the 10-year anniversary yesterday, Stitches has been an absolute beast. Lots of these teams have really started seeing how they play in Bones. Very big Stitches player. I wouldn't be shocked to see this banned away every single game this series. We're going to have to see if they do decide to keep that ban, but best of 5s, they do sometimes kind of bring out of meta of its own. So it will be interesting to see how that's going to kind of affect these drafts later on. But Junkrat going to be the second ban for Magnitude Epicenter, with Uther following it out for Crit Kicker. So I believe that Uther Magdadio really likes that as a healer. And I believe Magdadio has maybe played that as a main tank. I might be thinking of a different team, but I know for a fact that the Uther is another big pick for Bone. So they're just kind of targeting out the tanks. But Chromie's still going to be first pick for a Delta Sniper. And like I was saying, Delta Sniper loves this pick. It's incredibly strong on Infernal Shrines. Not surprising to see that locked away immediately. An Icon going to be on the Anduin, with Feint to Party going to take the Dahaka. Now that extra global is going to help out quite a bit. The Brush Stalker from Dahaka will definitely be able to get them in the right place in the right times and maybe start providing more pressure and maybe even trying to sneak something away there as we do head closer to it. But for now, next few picks already going to be coming in, and Tyke's also going to get locked in for Clownface. These are two of the best DPSs for this map. They're both really good at taking down the skeletons, just trying to get that shrine in their hands. And Garrosh can definitely be finding pickoffs for this team. And with Tychus already locked in, they're going to be good against any one of those potential HP tanks. So I wonder if they're going to ban away the Anubrak. I think that's the only tank left that is kind of like not super high HP, but instead it's going to be the Maiev banned by Magnitude Epicenter, with Chen being the choice for crit kickers. And Chen is really solid as well. I mean, we've seen that played in the main tank role before. Not too often, but it does happen. But it is going to be the Joanna locked in for Godfred. And that's a pretty solid tank pick there. I mean, it's going to be really good for this map. It's good. I mean, it's Joanna. Everyone knows Joanna. Just kind of really good in basically every single situation. As Gul'dan going to get locked in for Infinity Meme. And that's going to be the mage for Infernal Shrines. But they still need a main DPS, because they're definitely going to be lacking a little bit in that regard. Gul'dan definitely cannot solo carry these team fights, but will definitely be a big part of them. Especially with that Fell Flame talent, which I assume they're going to go in that level 1. Definitely going to help them clear out these skeletons. But now MDC and Mac Daddio still going to be looking for the picks. And it's going to be the Sonya for MDC and the White Main for Mac Daddio. So a lot of heals going to be coming in for the side of Magnitude Epicenter. I mean, I really like their team comp so far. I think it's really well rounded. It's pretty standard, but at the same time, their team fight should still be pretty strong. Assuming MDC goes Leap, which I think for this game, it's actually kind of a necessity for them, it will make it pretty powerful. They will have that engage potential coming through, and Bones obviously can start looking for those pickoffs. But final pick for I, going to be the Zul'jin, and I said they needed a true carry, and the Zul'jin will definitely do. Well, looking at these two drafts, I think I still slightly favor the draft of Magnitude Epicenter. I think Tychus and Chromie are just so good on this map. If Garrosh is able to find really anyone that isn't the Joanna or Dahaka, they can get pretty good pickoffs and get the fight going early. But with that, we have our draft. We have our game number 1 set up. So we're going to go right in for game number 1. All right, and we are about to load into game number 1 between Crit Kickers and Magnitude Epicenter. And now this is where the fun is truly going to begin here, because both these teams, they have been really strong, 3-0 to get into the semifinals. And again, the Crit Kickers have been that number 1 spot. They are definitely the team to beat right now in Div A. They've already secured themselves the top 4. I mean, both of these teams have, but now it's time to see who's going to secure the top 2 and head into the NGS Finals for Div A. But looking over at the talents, not seeing anything too different. Even-handed blessings isn't something that we see all the time, but I think with the amount of AoE on the side of Magnitude Epicenter, it's definitely going to be pretty solid here. There's going to be a lot of damage just from the Dragon's Breath, the Sandblast, and overall from the overkill coming out of Clownface. But now both sides just going to group up towards the mid lane. The time trap has already been put as Godfred takes a little bit of poke damage, but again, Icon going to be able to heal that, no problem. Not super worried about it. As MPC is still kind of here on in the offside of it, but not going to be going in. And immediately to get started, Feint Tupari has gone up to that top lane. MPC going to be a little bit slow to follow, but it's fine, because now I will get Wrecking Balled onto the time trap. And now they're going to be able to save the wrong person. And I think Icon was trying to save I, but instead pulled back Godfred. So that will be first blood going over to Magnitude Epicenter. And that's a great start for them. Now, they did manage to catch this bottom wave as well, so they didn't lose out too much yet. As now, with that extra pickoff, they're immediately going to get started onto the siege camp. And yet, as I say that, the trap size going to go wide. Bones is going to be able to just walk it out no problem at all. But now they will be able to secure this camp for themselves. That's going to give them a little bit of that experience that's necessary. However, they are missing an entire wave in the mid lane during it. But now the team fight is starting. Godfrey going to get the condemn on a few as Icon with the Wrecking Ball Groundbreaker combo gets taken down so low. But with the double health orb available as well, Bones really not going to be hurting too much from it. And now they're looking to steal this next siege camp as well. It's already halfway done. So one of the Impalers is gone. But the other two are still up, going to be even healed back up to full HP. As MDC is actually going to join with the team here as well. Now, Delta Sniper and Clownface, they're going to get started on their own siege camp here on the right side. And it looks like it is just going to be an even 1-for-1 trade for these normal camps. But it is 1-to-1, or 2-to-1 overall for those Impalers. But now Bones, they're all grouping up to the mid lane as MDC does run up to the top. Again, just trying to match with Feint Tupari. And the Dahaka is always going to be better at that double soak. That's just one of the main points of the Dahaka. But now, Godfrey taking a lot of damage. And with a grenade, with a Wrecking Ball, a leap of faith from Icon. Going to keep Godfrey alive. 30 HP left. And it wasn't enough to take down this Joanna. But that being said, the Breaststalker, I believe that was the Breaststalker used by Feint Tupari. No, the Breaststalker is still available. So we'll be able to rejoin into the fight later on. Just kind of roaming down from the original rotation. But Shrine is spawning in 20 seconds, and the real fun part here is going to be these bruiser camps. Now, MDC and Feint Tupari now going to be over in the bottom side with the objective being on the top. But again, Feint Tupari is just kind of roaming around faster. And Godfrey as well, just kind of helping out, push out this mid lane. And this will give a slight numbers advantage and overall advantage over to Crit Kickers. They're going to be the first to the play. They're going to have better waves for it, as now we see the mid wave just crashing into them. But now the skeletons have been started, and it's going to be Magnitude Epicenter with the first move. And despite the rotations coming from the offlane, they're still ahead in experience because they're just kind of winning out on all the other sides. That's how Godfrey actually takes a decent amount of damage, but so does Bones. And now Magdadio is going to be here with the heal, and MDC has grouped up already. Might be a little bit early because no one's really hitting onto the skeletons. So none of that is really going to be accomplishing for the objective. And level 7 actually going to be first for Crit Kickers. And since there's only one way for them to kind of soak XP in, could be dangerous, but Godfrey going to get thrown into the backline. Has a condemn onto 4. And now the corruption over top might be enough, but the Dragon's Breath going to take down Godfrey. Icon at literally 7 HP, going to be able to back away, but Feint Tupari is going to be the last one, kind of in the middle of everyone. Time Trap not going to be hit. It will be dodged away with that stasis, but another team fight victory for a Magnitude Epicenter. They got the 1 for 0, but while they're working on the objective, Crit Kickers, they're going to start shoving in the mid wave. They're going to start shoving in the bot wave, and they're just getting a lot of value from all of these waves. They're going to get a lot of soak for themselves. So despite the kills and now the objective going over to Magnitude Epicenter, they are going to be losing out a bit on those neutrals. Because if you look over at the minions, almost 2k difference between Crit Kickers and Magnitude Epicenter. And I mean, that's just because of that solid play coming out from the rotation, primarily in the offlane. That's where we see a good chunk of that difference. Now it is going to be that Frozen Punisher dealing a lot of damage to the structures. I don't think they're going to be able to get too much out of this, but at the very least, they will be able to get this top lane wall. And with one more cast, not actually going to be able to land onto the fort itself, but still a little bit of damage will be done there. And now Feint Tupari is still shoving in that mid lane, but MDC immediately going to get started on the siege camp, and that will give the team actually a pretty big boost in terms of priority, in terms of tempo, up for the rest of this map. Now Feint Tupari might be going a little bit too far, as Bones is in the area. Wrecking Ball is going to get used. Same with the Groundbreaker, but the stasis is going to be coming out immediately. And with all these brushes here, just going to be able to get that move speed, going to go full race car, and just going to be able to run away. The drag not going to land onto Delta Sniper. And level 8 has been achieved, so the slowing sands are already available for this Chromie. Downblast just going to hit onto Godfrey, but and with the other siege camp also going towards Magnitude Epicenter, it is slowly but surely building up their lead. But now MDC still trying to hold that mid lane, but another wave lost top. So, but again, that's kind of expected. This isn't me trying to bully MDC or anything. I know it might seem that way a little bit, but it's just kind of pointing out the difference between this Dahaka and this Sonya. Now, later on in the game, once the team fights come through, I do imagine the Sonya is going to be able to bring out a lot more value in the plays, and that's why you pick the Sonya for. You pick it for the team fights. But the double soak advantage also needs to be seen right now because that's what this Dahaka is able to do. But now, Magnitude Epicenter, they really want to shove in this mid lane. They're going to use the Commandeer Odin from Cloudface. And with the Dragon's Breath over top, they're just dealing so much damage. The mid lane wall is already going to be gone. And now with the slowing sands, they're also going to be able to just kind of fully zone away crit kickers. Now, I'm curious if they're going to keep going. It doesn't seem that way. They're kind of backing off once this wall is done. And they were able to take it down in its entirety, not leaving even those sides available. So pretty solid play for Magnitude Epicenter. But not too much action between these two teams yet. It's just a lot of macro plays, a lot of macro rotations. Now, crit kickers, they will at least be able to secure their own siege camp. So once again, it will be 2-1 in favor of Magnitude Epicenter, but crit kickers, they don't go away empty-handed. Now, the entire team just kind of grouping towards that mid lane. There is a camp of Impalers just kind of shoving in, but Clownface is going to be here to try and pull it away. But Godfred could be looking for a play. Will get scouted out by Magdadio, but will not be able to find that positioning for that pickoff. It is a bit harder on the Joanna, but Blessed Shield is available now. As now Godfred looking for Clownface, gonna have the Condemn, and then the Drag not even going to be necessary. Light Bomb over top. Horrify as well was going to be used by crit kickers, but it is going to be Magnitude Epicenter that do lose their member. They're going to lose Clownface, they're going to lose their Tychus, and it's a pretty solid pickoff just before the shrine is activating. So this will give them first move onto their own Bruiser camp. They will be able to take that down, and they should be able to get first positioning around this shrine as well. Now, the Bruiser camp is going to get matched by Magnitude Epicenter, so I don't expect there's going to be really a big advantage in terms of passive push. But now this is where the team fight could be coming out, and now the heroics are down for crit kickers. They don't have quite a few things. Now, Groundbreaker does land. Going to get cleansed away. Commandeer Odin burned as well. Clownface is getting ready, but now they might have gone a little bit too far, and Bones is going to get taken down. Faint to Party will also find the drag, and Magdadio going to be the next one to get taken down. It's a 2-0 in favor of crit kickers, but the skeleton still slightly favoring us. Godfred going to get taken down by Clownface. Odin just bringing in so much long range damage and was just kind of going down during this entire play. But now it is still 4v3 here as MDC is still available, has the leap if they do want to go, and they do use it immediately on. But Light Bomb gonna get used by Icon just for that self peel. MDC still trying to chase but not able to find the angle. They have the root, they have the Horrify, and with that it's going to be another kill going to crit kickers as MDC goes down. And Delta Sniper, kind of their main option to try and get more skeletons over the wall, is out of mana. The time trap was there though, and now they're looking for Faint to Parry, but Faint to Parry actually moving forward, trying to run away. The overkill just dealing as much damage as possible and is kind of behind enemy lines and will be hiding over in that brush and should be just the kill, but at the same time, they were able to push them as far away from this mid lane Arcane Punisher that crit kickers have been able to secure for themselves. Now they're going to be shoving it in. The Unstoppable has been used by Bones, so not going to get stunned up, but this looks like it's going to be this mid lane keep taken down as Magnitude Epicenter definitely struggling to take down this big boss. And with that, they will lose their mid lane keep, and there's still half HP left on the Punisher. Clownface actually needs to get cleansed by Magdadio. Could have been in a very dangerous spot. However, crit kickers, they're looking to steal away the siege camp instead, and with that one team fight, with that one play, they were able to get the full level lead almost, and now they're gonna start pressuring down on the spot side. They already got one of these camps, they're looking for the second, and they should be able to just 3-0 on this next set of siege camps. So with that being said, crit kickers, they're just in a really, really solid spot here. Now they're gonna go back, take their final siege camp. They don't have any talent advantages yet, but at the rate it's going, there's a very solid chance that they're gonna have their level 16s when this next Punisher spawns. And I don't think Magnitude Epicenter will be quite there yet. And alongside with this extra push they're gonna have in the mid lane, because there is the Impalers pushing in, Faint to Parry's pushing into the top side, they could just start threatening down in the spot lane, because eventually these waves are just going to crash in a way that crit kickers will be able to just get free structural damage, but they don't seem to want to wait. Instead, they're going to send Faint to Parry kind of towards that mid lane, and in fact, they're sending their entire team there. But Delta Sniper's there, Clownface is there, they're going to clear it out pretty quickly, but MDC going to be the target. They have the drag, they have the Light Bomb, but the leap going to get used as a response, and MDC going to be able to survive for now, and with the healing coming out from Magdadio, will be able to be healed back up. And at the end of the day, just gonna be that trade of heroics. It is going to be that leap for the Light Bomb. Both pretty short cooldowns. In fact, they pretty much have the exact same cooldowns. 1 second difference between them right now. And now it's Magnitude Epicenter's turn to try and set up a death rush. However, Crickers, they don't care about that. They're just going to be running straight to the bot lane. And Godfred is there to kind of catch on to Bones, so there is no angle for them to fight. But now Faint to Party looking for the drag, but with the slowing stance, not going to have the range, as the Dragon's Breath just going to do a little bit of poke on the way out. And because they sent all 5 members down there, MDC is just kind of free hitting onto this top lane fort. Won't be able to take it down, but that's a solid amount of permanent damage dealt by the Sonya. Now that they've gone to reply to that, Magnitude Epicenter, now they're going to start pushing over towards this bot site. But now the teams are here. They're ready. Time Trap going to at least prevent Godfred from walking up. And level 16s are available now for crit kickers, by the way. Magnitude Epicenter, they're getting close, but they're not there yet. But now MDC, once again, going to be the target. The drag is going to land. They have the Fell Flame and the Corruption, and that's all that's needed. IE's going to be able to get that kill, and it's 5-4 the kill score, as now they're going to start running into the Bruiser camp. And without MDC, that's a very big team fight heroic that's not going to be available. Bones is still going to attempt to walk, but thinks better of it. And crit kickers, they're able to get the pick off. They're able to steal a camp. And like I mentioned before, this is just as the shrine is activating. Now, at the very least, they will be able to clear away this Bruiser camp, and they do have their level 16s for this next team fight on the side of Magnitude Epicenter. But that's still going to be a pretty big amount of pressure that they're not going to get. It's going to push them further back in terms of experience. They really need this team fight to work as the Groundbreaker going to get dodged away by Infinity Meme. They have the Time Trap already in the brush, but with Icon and Godfred in the area, it's definitely going to be a little bit difficult for them to take. And they do have all 5 members up here. MDC's here as well, which means Faint to Party just getting free damage on that bottom fort. So now they're going to commandeer the Odin, and they're immediately going to get started on these skeletons. Now, I think most likely what's going to happen is this Dahakis is going to let it go and take the bot lane. And now the Brush Stalker should be coming in shortly. And now this is where the team fight could start coming out. Godfred positioning forward, going to be able to get the condemn onto MDC. Light Bomb is going to be there, not going to land onto anyone. But going to be hit by the Warlord's Challenge, and it's just going to get immediately taken down. So it's a 1-for-0 so far for Magnitude Epicenter. And now they should be able to at least get this Punisher for themselves. They already lost their mid lane fort a long while ago. They lost their bot lane fort during that play. But with this, they should at least be able to take this top lane fort, as it is already quite low. And maybe even look for more. It's already 14 minutes in. Level 20s are definitely on the horizon for both these two teams. So getting this kind of pressure, this kind of push forward, it's definitely going to help a lot, especially with this comeback potential. Now the Bruiser camp is going to be taken by crit kickers to try and slow them down, but it will get removed pretty quickly. This Mortar Punisher is just already bringing so much DPS, but while they're pushing into the top side, Faint to Parry trying to take that siege camp as Infinity Meme and Icon. They've already taken the left siege camp. Now they're looking for the bottom one. But how much will they lose for this? Because they're spending a lot of time. They're not defending or hitting the Punisher while they're doing that. So level 18 is about a hit for Magnitude Epicenter, which is a big level for the Chromie. And going to be interesting to see what they do lock in there for this talent. And it is going to be the Piercing Sands. And now with this final Dragon's Breath, they will be able to bring this keep down to about half its HP, but Faint to Party going to be coming in from behind. Will look for the drag, but the Wrecking Ball from Bones going to prevent any kind of follow-up. But now with the extra movement speed just from the brushes, we'll be able to follow them, but won't be able to start a fight. So everything said and done, the levels are around the same, but that is going to be a lot more pressure favoring the side of Magnitude Epicenter. They at least have a lane that's going to be passively pushing in for them. They still have the issue with mid and bot, but this time around, it's got to make it a little bit easier as they do continue forward in this game. And now they're going to shove out the spot lane. And both sides, I've noticed, they're just starting to group as 5 now. Level 20s are about to get hit or crit kicker, so this could be a pretty strong moment for them. As we do have the infamous pause that, as per usual, always going to be coming in. Looks like there is a little bit of an internet issue. So hopefully that'll get solved soon. But apparently there's one of the players has a storm nearby. So that's a very likely story. No, I'm kidding. It genuinely is a likely story. But that's just kind of how it's going to be sometimes. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's NGS. It's a lot more frustrating when you have these pauses in like those full professional games. But at the end of the day, we're all patient. We can all just hang out for a little bit and wait for this next game. But Just kind of as a heads up for everyone here, if you're noticing I'm a little bit quieter than usual, I did have that long cast yesterday, and this is actually the third series I'm casting today. I had a double League of Legends cast right before this, so I do apologize. I will still try to bring out the energy for those big team fights, but if the quality is a little bit lacking, that's why. But it does look like they are almost ready. The ready check has already begun. So both teams should be getting ready to head in. Let's just bring us right in. And there we go. The game has resumed. Level 20s now hit on the side of Crit Kickers. They're in a really good spot here to just really try and get some kind of plays done. But Magnitude Epicenter, they're going to rotate their players up to the top side. They're going to be able to prevent this top lane forward from going down. But again, Crit Kickers, they're the ones that get the first move. Magnitude Epicenter just kind of forced to respond to those plays. And now they're able to shove it in the bot lane and could potentially look for a pickoff in transition. But it doesn't look like anyone from Magnitude Epicenter is going to be approaching. So they're just going to wait, potentially give a little bit of free soak back to Magnitude Epicenter, let them shove their waves out. As Feint to Pari, again, just making sure that top lane's constantly shoved in. But MDC could definitely be the next target. However, Godfred is on vision. They're on the time trap, so would definitely be an opportunity for Magnitude Epicenter to maybe bait a play in here. But the only issue is they only see Godfred. Okay, now they bring out the Time Walker. The Time Walker's Pursuit. They're able to spot out the rest of Crit Kickers. But they're not really able to use the level 20 yet. There's no objective for them to fight over. The Bruiser Camp is now going to be available, and that's where they are going to be sending in their team. But Magnitude Epicenter most likely going to have to give this away, but when you're down level 20s and only losing a Bruiser Camp is really not a big deal. I think that's something you are completely willing to trade now. Level 20 is going to finally hit over for Magnitude Epicenter, so we are on that final talent here. We got those Storm talents for both these teams, and that's where things are going to be getting a little bit more dangerous during these team fights. And Crit Kickers, they still have a slight lead when it comes to structures, but they will no longer have that extra talent advantage. And now the shrines are going to be activating in 15 seconds, but the siege camps have to be taken out first, and Crit Kickers always willing to be the ones to take them. They're right there on the spawns, but again, this time, Magnitude Epicenter, if they want to, they could threaten if they decide to, but they don't have the positioning, they don't have the vision for it, they just don't want to deal with it. They're just going to try and shove away these Impalers instead, but Iron Infinity Meme positioning a little bit forward, but will be able to dash away for now, or not dash, but dodge away from the Groundbreaker for now. The Root almost landing from I, but not going to be able to spot out MDC. And now Odin going to get used immediately, and it looks like the fight's going to be coming out. They have the big red button, and Godfred takes the full Dragon's Breath from Delta Sniper. Even as the main tank, that is still a lot of damage to kind of tank. And now they're looking, they're able to find Infinity Meme. The Horrify is there, but Delta Sniper was not in it. And now they have the Leap, and it is going to be the Crater, but Leap of Faith gonna get used by Icon to kind of save Godfred, but that's a big pick to get. And with that, it looks like Magnitude Epicenter, they will definitely be able to take themselves the Frozen Punisher in the mid lane. And let's see how much value they can get out of this now. This should definitely be at least the fort going their way. And in fact, they're also going to be looking for that Bruiser Camp in the top side and may just let the Punisher do its own thing while they start threatening onto this top lane keep. And if that is their play, I actually really like that, because I think that could be a really good middle ground. They're most likely not going to be able to take the keep over in the mid lane, but with the Chromie, with the Bruiser Camp, and the Punisher kind of buying pressure for them in the mid lane, they could definitely threaten for it. But now Feint to Pari going to go into stasis. Wrecking Ball not going to be able to find, but the drag is, and they have the leap instead of the Warlord's challenge. They're going to find that pickoff, and now just like that, they have the top lane keep. The Punisher already jumping behind enemy lines onto that mid lane keep, and Magnitude Epicenter, they could, in theory, look to just kind of start DPSing onto the core, but they're just going to aim for this keep behind the wall, and it's already super low. Just need a couple more hits. Delta Sniper has one more set of cooldowns, but the Root instead going to land onto MDC. Crimson Aegis not going to find too many, as the Blessed Shield just slightly out of range to really get this fight going, but a bit of an interesting position to be in for the side of Magnitude Epicenter. They took down most of that keep, but that wall is still alive and healthy. But solid play for them regardless. MDC is going to be down, but so is Feint to Pari. However, there will be a little bit of a trade happening over in this bot lane. It's just going to be mostly the wall taken down and a little bit of damage onto the keep. They should be able to clear away the rest as the Impaler camp and this cannon just getting a lot of value. And this is what Feint to Pari kind of cleared away before joining the rest of the team on that defense. So very well played from that. That's why it's always important to do just these small little advantages. It doesn't give the keep right away, but I mean, that's still a third of its HP. And I believe there was a wall here when that play did start. So a lot of value there for the crit kickers. Now the siege camps are going to get spawned. And it looks like they're just going to look to try and take all three of them again on the side of crit kickers. They will be able to secure the left one. Going to start positioning for the right one as well. But haven't started it yet. Delta Sniper will be scouting it out with a slowing stance. And most of Magnitude Epicenter are here. If they want to fight for it, they definitely can. Dragon's Breath over top, dealing quite a bit of damage. And the Impalers are gone, but no one's willing to stand on it. Now Bones is going to be here, but it's already going to be gone. Eye going to get cleansed away and leap into the backline. But it's only going to land on the Bones. Now Feint to Pari is in the backline. Just able to land the drag onto Magdadio, but is alone. They have the root. They have the stasis. And now how much more can they get with it? The isolation lands on MDC and leap of faith from Icon just to keep Feint to Pari alive. But the time trap is there onto Godfred, and Godfred walks forward, has the condemn onto 3, Light Bomb and Horrify as well, but the cleanse immediately going to be found. Bones still alive, and it is going to be the 1-for-0 so far, but the Taz Dingo has been popped, and same with that extra shield from Godfred. Those 2 level 20 talents just making sure that they stay alive. As never mind, Delta Sniper with that namesake going to be able to land the damage, and with the Dragon's Breath going to be able to find Icon as well. So what looked like a good start for Crit Kickers ends up being a 2-for-1, or yeah, in favor of Magnitude Epicenter. And now they really want this mid lane keep, so they're just going to run straight forward for it. Gonna put down the time trap, a couple of Dragon's Breath and a grenade, and that will be the mid lane keep, going the way of Magnitude Epicenter as well. Which again, the wall is still nice and healthy, so that's gonna be at least a buffer for that mid lane pressure that's gonna now be passively coming out of Magnitude Epicenter. And it's also funny because this bot lane wall for the fort, by the way, is also still quite healthy. The gate itself is gone, and a decent amount of damage has been done to this bottom cannon tower, but overall, it's definitely in a good spot. Now, the shrine is active. Neither side has started yet, but MDC will get the Bruiser Camp on the top side, and this Arcane Shrine will get started. And again, Magnitude Epicenter, they're here first, and it's still 3v5 on the map for a short little while. Icon and Godfred going to be respawning now, going to be getting onto the map now, but it's already a little bit late for them. It's already 19 to 1, 20 to 1 in terms of skeleton. And the number for Magnitude Epicenter, it's just going to keep climbing. They're in such a good spot for this. And now they're looking for a little bit more. This should definitely be theirs. But the question is, what can they get with it? And how well can Crit Kickers defend this? Now, there will be a little bit of pressure happening in the bot side at the same time. But if that wave is able to get cleared away, then it might not be as big a deal. But this bot lane wall gonna get removed immediately. The fort's gonna follow. And Crit Kickers are not even gonna try defending the fort. I expect they're gonna put their fight onto the keep. That is where they're in a position. But in the meanwhile, the bot lane keep actually gonna go down in favor of Crit Kickers. So if they're able to get this keep, it will be all 3 keeps removed in favor of Magnitude Epicenter. But it doesn't mean they're gonna have that passive pressure over in that bot lane. Now the Arcane Punisher just kind of helping a little bit with these structures, but not going to be able to help out too much. Commandeer Odin going to get popped by Clownface immediately, and now they're looking for this keep as well. The Punisher is almost gone, but the amount of damage they're able to bring out onto it doesn't even matter. Big Red Button is just so good at taking out these structures. So now it's going to be all 6 major structures taken down by Magnitude Epicenter, while there's still 3 remaining on their own end of the map. The one more Punisher could definitely be an angle for Magnitude Epicenter to end the game. Whereas Crit Kickers, it'll depend entirely on the spawn. Now, we did just have it over in the bot lane. And I believe the one before that was mid lane. So most likely this will be in the top lane. Which means Magnitude Epicenter, if they do lose a fight, and yep, that's exactly where it's going to be spawning. It will be the Mortar Punisher up there. It's going to be something that they can definitely survive if they do lose a team fight there. But if they lose it too hard, I think Crit Kickers can just kind of ignore it and push through the bot lane instead. But now they're setting up a bit of a death brush. Magnitude Epicenter, they're not shoving out their waves. They don't care too much about it. They know that passively the waves are going to be favoring them. And they're just kind of hiding out in this topside jungle. But Feintupari is well aware of that, just going to be playing super back, super safe. And the rest of Crit Kickers, they're also just kind of not giving that angle. They're only staying in the area that they know is safe, that they know that Magnitude Epicenter cannot possibly be in. And now it's going to happen the other way around. Godfred positioning forward, but might have been scouted out there. And yes, with the extra vision coming out from Time Walker's Pursuit, they're going to be able to scout out Crit Kickers. And we are starting to get pretty late into this game. We're already approaching 26 minutes here. Look, this is already a close game. This is already the close series that I've been wanting here. I think Div A, especially near the end of the season, has been incredibly tight. There's definitely a solid top 4 next 4, but not anymore. But the time trap has landed, and they have the leap just to prevent the stasis. Feintupari has nowhere to go, and with the isolation on a 4, actually might be able to survive. MDC still chasing, but the move speed going to be there for Feintupari, and because of that, Crit Kickers, they're looking to threaten the end of the game, and now they're just immediately going to get onto the core, and that might have been enough for them. They're already past the shields, and now the rest of the team is here. Lots of those big heroics are not available. Blessed Shield just trying to slow them down. Same with the Horrify, but Eyes going to get caught out. Has the Taz Dingle, will get saved by the Leap of Faith, but they can no longer hit onto the core. Leap of Faith just going to be used to peel away MDC, but the cleanse is still there. They have the slowing stance, and the next leap is going to be the Crimson Aegis as well. And again, another Leap of Faith just to keep Godfred alive, but it is a 1-for-0 again for Magnitude Epicenter. Their core definitely losing a lot of health, but it doesn't get down to 0, and that's what matters. Now this next shrine is available on that top side of Magnitude Epicenter. They're immediately going to start racing towards it. And they have to be careful on the side of Crit Kickers, because there is a backdoor potential just from these minion waves now on this top side. And with this Punisher, if they're able to shove it in, it could definitely spell disaster for Crit Kickers. It could spell the end of the game in favor of Magnitude Epicenter. Now they're immediately just going to clear this out. Feintupari already on the way down, will be on vision as of now, but MDC might need to come back and kind of deal with this, and I think that could be the saving grace for Crit Kickers. The fact that they can start threatening onto this bot lane. The core is pretty unhealthy. 49% is not a lot. It would still be difficult to be backdoored, but it is most definitely possible. And with that kind of train of thought, Crit Kickers, they're sending 4 members down to the bot lane. It looks like they want to just try and rush this down, try and backdoor this. The Hearths need to be coming out now, and Clownface and Delta Sniper, they're already bringing it out, but the Punisher is shoving in through this top side. So really good macro play from Crit Kickers, just to kind of try and defend onto it. But now the leap not going to be able to catch on Infinity Meme. But instead, it's still only going to be 2 members here trying to defend onto the core. But the Punishers will always prioritize the heroes. So this may just be a free defense for the side of Crit Kickers. Now the Mortal Punisher will still be able to deal a decent amount of damage, and the rest of Magnitude Epicenter is on the way. So if they can start looking towards this core, this will be now. And they are getting at least some permanent damage onto it. They will try to get rid of this mid lane wall. That appears to just kind of outlast everyone and everything in this entire map. It'll finally go down 9% core damage. That's all they managed to get from that play. But again, Magnitude Epicenter, they were still able to get the objective. They were still able to take down an extra wall and take down at least a little bit of health off the core. And we are really heading into these long games. We're about 29 minutes in. Gonna definitely hit 30. I think neither one of these teams is gonna end in the next minute. So gonna be a pretty long map 1 here for this Infernal Shrines. I actually even forgot what map we were on for a second there. But 10-7 the kill score. So it hasn't been a very big brawl fest for these 2 teams. It has been primarily just that macro play coming in. And now Feintupari gonna be scouted out. Delta Sniper, good to use the slowing sands before walking in. That would have been very, very bad if they just walked in on their own. That would have definitely been a big pick off for Crit Kickers that they could have definitely looked to potentially even end just by taking down this one Chromie. Now Magnitude Epicenter, they will at least be able to secure their own bruiser camp, as Crit Kickers once again just positioning over towards this mid lane. Both sides just trying to keep the waves in a manageable state, but Magnitude Epicenter will have a little bit of passive push because they have every single structure down. You're going to get a lot of passive push in the top lane, especially a little bit in the mid lane. But the issue is when there's a Dahaka, it's pretty easy to kind of match into it. It's pretty easy to prevent it from really having too much value, as the Brush Stalker will always be able to come out. It's only during those long team fights where we're really going to be able to see it coming through. Now the Iron Skin gonna get popped, but nothing else there. Neither side really willing to pull the trigger fully. Now Delta Sniper is just shoving in with this Bruiser Camp, as now they do have the Groundbreaker on a Godfred, but Leap of Faith gonna get preemptively used by Icon just in case. But they do have Feint to Parry in the backline. MDC is here as well. And again, both sides, they both are itching for the fight, but neither one wants to be the one to start. They want to be the ones to punish an over-aggression. And that's what's making it difficult for this game to end. We're already at 31 minutes in. Actually, a little bit of a question to the chat, if anyone there knows. What is the longest game in NGS? Because the way these things are going, there has not been a lot of progress in the last few minutes. So I'm curious if we're able to kind of match that. I believe the longest one I've ever casted was 34, so this one's getting pretty close to that. But this next shrine could definitely be the end of the game if Magnitude Epicenter are able to take it. It is closer to the mid lane. They have the much better wave over on the bot side. The backdoor is possible for crit kickers, but it will definitely not be as easy as before. Now Godfred walking forward, and with the slowing stance, going to be out of range for that Blessed Shield, because otherwise Clownface was in pretty big danger there. Now instead, the shrine is going to get activated. Magnitude Epicenter, they're going to get a few hits off onto it, but crit kickers, they're positioning in a way to just kind of prevent any full aggression from Magnitude Epicenter. Godfrey just holding onto that brush, going to take a little bit of damage as the Odin is going to get popped. So that's how you know Magnitude Epicenter is serious, but Feint to Parry is in the backline, going to get the isolation onto 3, and the drag as well onto MDC. Horrify Light Bomb, and just like that, it's a 2 for nothing. Make that 3 in favor of crit kickers, and that might be all they need. Delta Sniper just trying to DPS over top, trying to slow them down as much as possible. And there are 2 cannons over on the core of crit kickers, but there's going to be a lot more players on the side of crit kickers on the core of Magnitude Epicenter. Odin is still available for a little bit, but going to get removed now. And they're onto the core. Dragon's Breath over top, but I believe Tazdingo is still available, so I'm going to be able to use that. They have the extra shield for Godfred as well, and I think that is all that they need. Infinity Meme gonna take down Chromie, and crit kickers win game number 1. Yeah, game time almost 33 minutes long, but crit kickers, they're just playing safe. They're just waiting for an overstep. At least that's what it has been for a while, but in the end, Feint to Parry managing to find the isolate onto 3 members of Magnitude Epicenter. And with that, they were able to just absolutely dominate the fight. They were just able to walk it right in and win game number 1. Now, this is a best of 5, so we're guaranteed at least 2 more maps. But until then, we're going to go to a short break, and when we come back, it'll be game number 2. So don't go anywhere. and we are here with map number 2. It is going to be Towers of Doom. Now, Crit Kickers, they've already won map number 1. They're going to be in a pretty good spot going forward here. And I mean, Towers is always a very fun map to watch. We've seen a couple games of that on this very same channel yesterday for that 10-year tournament, and every single one of those games was neck and neck, just very small differences ending up making the difference. But now Dahaka going to be the first ban coming out of Magnitude Epicenter, and I wouldn't be surprised. There it is, the Stitches. Once again, just going to be getting removed from Bones. They don't want Bones playing that Stitches. We've seen it many a time. It's an absolute nightmare to try and play into. And Crit Kickers, they could try to figure out how to play against it, but they're just not going to play into it at all. And now Chromie is going to be getting banned away, so Delta Sniper going to be forced onto something different. But the Tassadar is still available if they do want to play it. I know Delta Sniper really likes that hero. I know I've been kind of hyping it up a lot, but I've seen many games from it before, and every single time Delta Sniper delivers. So that's why I'm like, let's get that Tassadar going. But either way, we'll see. I mean, they do still have a few options, and they do have first pick this time. And it is going to be the Garrosh coming in for Bones. So going to be the same pick as last time. And I mean, that game was close, but I don't think the draft itself was necessarily the issue. But both sides will still have one respect ban coming in from map number 1. The Dahaka from the side of Magnitude's Epicenter, and Crit Kickers banning away that Chromie. But again, may as well match those tanks and may as well keep the same healer. So it is going to be Joanna on Godfred playing Joanna, and then Icon going to be playing Anduin here this time around. I mean, they're in a really good spot here. That combo definitely worked out well for them. They had a massive team fight just using that Blessed Shield into Light Bomb, and there it is. The Tassadar for Delta Sniper going to finally be coming out here. And like I said, this typically does the Shockwave builds, but it can definitely do others. And with the Uther still available, Mac Daddio going to be logging that in for the team. And again, there's a reason why this Uther is banned away pretty often. Between Bones and Mac Daddio and Delta Sniper, you can't ban away all of their picks. You're going to have to leave something through. So even with a Chromie ban, Tassadar definitely still available, and the Uther just now forced to remain open. And it's going to be played, and not just played, but played well by Mac Daddio. Now next set of bans is going to be the Junkrat, once again from Crit Kickers, trying to prevent Clownface from playing that. They did play the Tykes over in game number 1, and it is going to be available for game 2, but the Vikings going to get removed by Magnitude Epicenter. And this is their best map, without question. All Track Pass is decent for the Vikings, but Towers of Doom, without question, their single best map, can kind of take the altars. It's one of the few characters where, for the offlane, when there's that triple altar spawn, you don't have to trade those top 2 altars. You can send, I don't know, Baylog or Eric over to the left one or to your right one, whichever is yours, and then send the other 2 to the other one and just kind of bully them off the point until you're ready to fight them 1v1 there. Now, a lot of Poke gonna get drafted for Crit Kickers. They're gonna have the Li Ming for Infinity Meme and the Hanzo for IE. That's going to be a lot of damage and a lot of range specifically locked in for Crit Kickers. This is going to be a good opportunity for them to try and maybe pick people off before a true fight can begin. Now it is going to be Blaze, pick for MDC in the offlane. And once again, Clownface going to be playing that Tychus. Now there is no big high HP tank. However, right now for the offlane, the best pick most likely is going to be the Leoric here. They do need someone that's able to kind of double soak. They could pick the Sonya or something like that, and it wouldn't be bad for team fights, but they're kind of built around Poke, and they are kind of building around just having that 1-4 split. So it is going to be the Hogger, which actually is another good pick for that double soak, and still takes a decent amount of damage from Tychus' minigun, but not quite as much as the Leoric would. And with the Uther Tassadar, they just have so many picks that are good into Leoric. I'm kind of glad they didn't end up going with it. But what is interesting is it's going to be Godfred on Hogger, and Joanna's actually going to be played by Feint Tupari. So a little bit of a role swap happening over in this game number 2, but with that, the draft is done. Both teams are ready to go, so let's see if Magnitude Epicenter can bring this back, or if Crit Kickers will keep their lead in game number 2. All right, and here we are loaded into Towers of Doom. Crit Kickers with 1 point, Magnitude Epicenter with 0. It is a best of 5, so this map not going to be the decider quite yet, but it's still going to be a big chance for Crit Kickers to try and solidify their lead in this best of 5 series. And now some interesting picks already. It is going to be Hammer of the Lightbringer. So it's going to give that extra Hammer of Justice cooldown reduction later on once that quest is completed. And I mean, that's kind of what's scary about Magdaddio. He's just so willing to play forward on this healer. So willing to kind of take advantage of the vast amounts of crowd control that this hero is able to bring out. But now both sides going to start grouping towards this mid lane. A little bit of poke aimed towards Bones, but Bones going to be able to dodge away, but not going to be able to dodge away on the scatter arrow. But interestingly enough, it is going to be Redemption picked level 1 for I. So it is going to be that basic attack build coming out from the Hanzo. It's not one that we see super often, but it is one that has been seen, and in some games is definitely good if you don't want to rely on skill shots. But now Icon gonna get thrown back with a Wrecking Ball with a jet propulsion. It will be first blood going over to Delta Sniper as Icon going to go down. And because of that, MDC is going to be a little bit late on the rotation, and actually Godfrey was trying to get in the way, but MDC just going to be able to run right by it. But still not too much miss soak in the top lane, and having that first blood will give them a little bit of that extra experience. As now they're looking for I. Bones gonna get taken down pretty low, but I almost getting burst down, but will still survive. Now it is Psystorm build right now. It's gonna be Psy Infusion level 1 for Delta Sniper. It's not as much in that burst damage, but for that over time, if they have the CC chain, overall it will definitely give more damage to them. Now the Saber Camps are available, and Magnitude Epicenter immediately going to get started on theirs. Should be able to take it down pretty quickly, but Crit Kickers have also already started on theirs, and when you have the Li Ming, getting that extra damage, being able to finish it off pretty quickly, also not a problem. So both going to get taken down around the same time, slightly fast for Magnitude Epicenter. And because of that, they are able to get the first move here in the bot lane, but can they really do anything with it? Delta Sniper just kind of poking onto Feint Tupari. Groundbreaker not going to be able to land. Bones still in trying to position forward, and with the grenade toss being thrown in, one of the sappers actually does land onto the cannon tower. So a little bit of a victory coming forward for Magnitude Epicenter. Iron Skin is going to get thrown out, and Icon could be in a bad spot. They have the Hand of Justice, and instead they're going to throw back Feint Tupari, but again with the Leap of Faith, Feint Tupari is going to be okay. So a little bit of structural damage will land, but a lot of poke damage going to land back the other way. As Magnitude Epicenter, they're all running back, just trying to get some health, and will be forced to all tap. But now, actually, the experience advantage going back the other way, as the Bones get taken out very low, but so is I. Level 4 talents are there as well. So it is going to be a little bit of that bonus damage coming in from all these teams, or whatever talents they get. Usually it's damage, but not always. But let's take a look over at that experience total, and I think this is where the levels have kind of come back. The minions advantage, and a big part of that is going to be from Godfred, just almost 700 XP ahead of MDC here. And again, I think part of that was for that a trade for that first blood that Magnitude Epicenter were able to get. So it is kind of deceiving because the overall team experience was pretty good, but the altars have spawned. Infinity Meme in a good spot for it, but Psystorm going to be able to cancel it out. And now the Force Wall is there onto Feint Tupari, but Infinity Meme going to get canceled by the Shockwave, so it's still not gonna be turned in. Infinity Meme still doing what they can, just taking grenade after grenade, but the poke definitely favoring the side of Crit Kickers. And yet MDC now going to join in. Godfred's going to be here as well. So it is 5v5 for this final altar, as though 2 in the top side of the map have been traded. But now which side is willing to pull the trigger for this engage? Infinity Meme again trying to soak it up, but the Psystorm's going to be there first. Now Godfred going to get stunned up. A Leap of Faith again going to be there. And now Infinity Meme still channeling into the fray, gonna get used, and now Infinity Meme taken down to around half HP as Bones at around 10%, but it is still alive. Importantly, Magdaddio starting to get a little bit low on mana, could be a potential issue for Magnitude Epicenter, but they do manage to get both those orbs in the mid lane as Bones gonna be unstoppable and gonna be taken down. First kill for Crit Kickers. They will be able to get that kills. Another grenade. Infinity Meme just catching them all. But it will still be that extra altar and that one kill going over to Crit Kickers over the fight for this one singular altar. And now with everything said and done, as we're watching the cleanup, a lot of these lanes are actually kind of shoving in for Magnitude Epicenter, which sounds good, but in reality, this is a lot of soak that's not going to be missed by crit kickers that was missed by Magnitude Epicenter. And I mean, obviously that's no one's fault. That's just the nature of how these waves ended up crashing, but it's going to give a pretty significant advantage over the crit kickers. They already have about half a level, as the Sapper camps have been taken by both these two teams, but this time, crit kickers are the ones that are positioned more forward, but Psystorm going to be really good at clearing them away, and it does look like most likely neither of these teams are going to be able to land their Sappers, but crit kickers are already going to lose theirs, as the ones for Magnitude Epicenter are already down to half HP. The overkill going to get thrown down by Clownface, but might not be enough time, but yet one of the Sappers will land. So they will lose their game. Now Faint to Party going to get thrown to the backline. Hand of Justice is there. They have so much DPS, but again, the leap of faith from Icon going to be more than enough to just keep them alive, as I taking a massive amount of poke. Having it from the Psystorm and the Shocker again. Bionic Echo is really going to help out a lot. And now they're still looking over. Force Wall going to get used, and it deals a lot of damage over to those structures as well. When you have that level 4 talent, the Force Wall is actually a really powerful offensive tool. It's very easy to land. It's basically just clean poke. I've actually never seen this spread this talent properly or how it's used, but that's actually pretty interesting for the Psystorm build. And now Bones going forward, looking for Icon, and they will have the Wrecking Ball, but they have the Hand of Justice over top. They're still looking for this healer, the overkill over top, and that will be the healer going down. Delta Sniper starting to get pretty low, but has the health orb, is regenerating up down to 150, down to 70, but won't go down. Now Fade to Bar's at around 200, 400, will get taken down, and everyone is so low and into the fray used by Bones. Clownface gonna be able to survive a very close encounter, but Magnitude Epicenter will be able to get 2 for nothing somehow, as Infinity Meme not able to clean up the final little bits of damage. Very well played by Magnitude Epicenter. And now with that, they're gonna start threatening onto this bot lane. Disintegrate used by Infinity Meme, trying to thin out the wave. Not going to be able to save this wall though. It will still go down in favor of Magnitude Epicenter. And as I said that, there was an altar at some point. I'll be completely honest, I don't even know when. I guess that was during that fight, so not too surprising, but it is going to be 32 to 32 now. So both these sides are even in terms of core health. Slight experience lead for Magnitude Epicenter, but it's really just going to come down to a couple fights. But now Bones is going to get rooted up with the Chastise. Condemned going to land, but NBC is here as well, looking for Pain to Parry. But I believe Leap of Faith is still available, and there it's going to be D-Shield onto Bones, and Black Hole keeping Eye away. But they have the Dragon Arrow over top, and now Bones still very low. Godfrey in the middle of everyone stunned up, but the Condemned going to find them. They're down to 4, they're down to 1. MDC, the final survivor, and just a couple more hits will be able to survive thanks to the healing coming out from MacDaddio, but that's still a 4-for-1 in favor of crit kickers, and their reward is going to be this extra Sapper camp from this right side. And if they're able to make it crash, there's going to be a lot of structural damage. And frankly, looking at the current state of the map, there's no reason why this shouldn't be able to crash. The Disintegrate going to be able to clear up most of this wave, and there it is. The gate's going to go down. The cannon tower going to be down to half HP as well. All the structural damage that they managed to get earlier on Magnitude Epicenter not going to amount to much. And with the altar spawning now, Infinity Meme going to get 4. And I or Godfrey, I'm not sure who managed to get that final bit of pull there. It's going to be 8 full core damage dealt to Magnitude Epicenter. MDC was at least able to trade a little bit of damage over to the top lane wall, but really not enough to amount to much. Now we're down. It's about a half level lead, slightly less for crit kickers, but considering they were behind going into that fight, this is a massive, massive play for them. Now they're still going to try to get their own turned in, but with Psionic, Storm, and Shockray, and the grenade coming out from Clownface, it's just going to be impossible unless they're able to take down Magnitude Epicenter first. As now the fight coming through, Jet Propulsion lands onto 3. Light Bomb is going to be there as well, but Infinity Meme gets pulled into the back, and they have the Warlord Challenger and the Black Hole, so they're going to take down Infinity Meme. But Faint to Party still playing forward, 4v5. They still like their odds. Commandeer Odin gonna get popped by Clownface, and now Leap of Faith for Faint to Parry. They're only gonna get the 1 for nothing, but Magnitude Epicenter, they have the HP advantage, and they have the Odin. They could start looking towards this bell tower, and look at that poke onto Eye. Now Icon still has a lot of mana, so we'll definitely be able to heal them back up, but it will be rough for them. between Delta Sniper and Clownface, they're able to get a little bit of damage onto this bottom bell tower, but definitely not enough to take it down yet. But they're still not done. They're going to still be grouping together. They're still going to be trying to go for that groundbreaker. Going to land on an Icon as a Wrecking Ball going to be used onto Feint Tupari, but now into the fray. Delta Sniper going to get repositioned, but they do have their offlaner here. Godfred may have found the angle, but D-Shield going to come out just in time. Bones is still alive at 200 HP, but it does look like Magdadio can approach, but again, with a little bit of healing, Magdadio will be able to keep Bones alive. So again, very close from crit kickers, but this Magdadio Uther just being consistently in the way. But even with all of that, they're still going to have enough pressure to get this altar. So it's going to be 32-20 on the core now. Now the siege camp is going to be spawning as well, so crit kickers could definitely be looking for this play as MDC is still up in the top lane. Did take down that sapper camp, so this is almost definitely going to be able to crash. But now they have the Dragon Arrow onto 3 Light Bomb as well, but Icon not going to be able to get there in time, but they're still able to take down Clownface. Delta Sniper as well, and it's just Magdadio and Bones left alive. Bones starting at pretty low, will try and save Magdadio, and will be able to, but will go down as a result. It's a 3-0. Magdadio also going to get poked down with a Disintegrate, and this bottom bell tower is starting to get quite low, and it looks like they're not even going to bother going for that sapper camp yet. They're just going to take this bell tower, let Feint Tupari tank it up with the Icon healing them, and now they can start taking these sappers, and now they can start pressuring the core once more. And level 16 advantage now going to be there for crit kickers. I said it was almost a full level advantage before. Now it is over that. They are doing extremely well. They're winning these team fights hard. And game number 1, at least from the current state, definitely seemed closer. But right now, crit kickers, again, able to get themselves this early lead. And they're trying to get this sapper camp to come in, but again, it's just so difficult. They have so much long range clear that it's practically impossible to get this turned in. The sappers just don't have the range. They have too much safe area to play through. But even so, it's kind of forcing Magnitude Epicenter to just play back, play defensively. They're not going to be able to really get too much pressure on the map themselves. Now, kind of as a reply, they are sending Clownface and Bones up to the top side. Godfred could be in a bad spot. The oil slick is there. Jet propulsion not going to be used yet. And now it's going to land. Godfred going to be taken down, a burst down. Dragon Arrow going to score a field goal. But either way, Infinity Meme still going to be here to prevent Bones from turning in. And it's going to be 5 damage hit onto the core. Now MDC will at least be able to get 3 from that right altar, but now the next team fight is starting. Kind of in the middle of everyone. Blessed Shield as well as MDC looking for the fight, but the Warlord's challenge just going to keep Feint Tupari away. Just still trying to run away, but the Twin Stream's more than enough. But in the meanwhile, Icon also getting taken down. So make that a 3-0 total for Magnitude Epicenter. They will be able to get this altar as well, as Bones was trying to shield for now, but Disintegrate is still available. Arcane Orb gonna get blocked. Disintegrate now gonna get used, and just getting a lot of free damage, just trying to buy as much time as possible. Clownface still trying to pressure onto Feint Tupari as well, as again, just even more cooldowns expended, trying to prevent this. The Dynamite not gonna be there in time, so it is gonna be another 3 damage going onto the crit kicker's core. But at the end of the day, despite that win, that was still 6 for 5, but this is where Magnitude Epicenter can start pressuring. They're looking for this top lane. This top lane bell tower is quite low. They're still missing 2 members, so this should be free for Magnitude Epicenter, and they will be able to secure it. So now it's 3-3 in terms of bell towers for both these 2 teams. But the core health is still 26-15. And if you want to have any one of the lanes, you definitely want bottom lane. So I would still give a slight advantage to crit kickers, just because that's where the camps are. But as I say that, MDC now going to be playing through the bot side, trying to clear this away, but they're able to land the Dragon Arrow onto Delta Sniper. And Delta Sniper still staying alive, but will get burst down. It's a 1-0 Light Bomb over top as well. Going to be able to land onto 2. Bones going to go down. They will trade for Feint Tupari, but it's still a 2-for-1 in favor of crit kickers. As now they start the boss, I don't think they're actually planning on completing it, but both sides should definitely be trying to get their bell towers back in their favor. Now, Godfred is in a good spot to just kind of start DPSing onto this top one. We'll need a little bit to be able to fully finish it off, as I is going to be roaming up to help as well. But Clownface and MDC, they will at least be able to take back this bottom bell tower of their own. Now, the next 2 altars are going to be in that top half of the map. The sappers have already been taken on the bot side. Magnitude Epicenter are going to take the other two. So they are going to be in a pretty good spot to potentially even threaten this bottom bell tower. They do have the inside track. If MDC is able to just kind of clear away these sappers and make sure their own are able to crash, that could be an opportunity for Magnitude Epicenter. But now in the meanwhile, the top bell tower has been hit as well. So Crit Kickers will be back to even. It's going to be 4-4 damage getting split. So it's going to be 19-11 in favor of Crit Kickers still. So 11 HP really isn't that much. So Magnitude Epicenter, they're definitely going to have to play safe. They have to try and get something to happen because they keep trading evenly. They will end up going down, but they do have the level 20s right now, so this is a strong opportunity for them. Bones looking behind the play. A light bomb going to get used by Icon, but not going to be able to find anyone. They're already lost their bottom bell tower, and a Faint to Party gets thrown into the rest of the team, but the Iron Skin going to prevent any kind of follow-up play. Infinity Meme gets almost poked down, but actually ends up trading even heavier into Delta Sniper, so good play from Crit Kickers. They have their level 20 now as well. So this is definitely an opportunity for them to really start pressuring. Now Faint Party, again, just Wrecking Ball going to be used defensively. But Godfred now aiming for the backline, has the Shock Wave available. Disintegrate's going to be up in about 2 seconds as well, but MDC going to be grouping in from the side. And now it's just going to be about this bottom bell tower. Now Scattershot actually helping out quite a bit, but still not going to be enough to really deal too much damage. I believe it is still going to be Giant Slayer, and it includes basic attack, so this Redemption is still going to really help quite a bit. So it's going to be quite a bit of attack speed as now Bones looking for the play, but again, the Iron Skin is going to be there now. MDC going for the Jet Propulsion, not going to be able to find anyone again. And both sides just kind of trying to look for those aggressive plays. Just trying to pressure out as much as they can as Infinity Meme getting burst down quite heavily. Dragon Arrow going to land onto the backline. Blessed Shield as well. Only going to land on it too, and the Black Hole is going to prevent any kind of follow-up. Now, Commandeer Odin has already been burned by Clownface, and it looks like MDZ should be able to just safely take this altar. And it's going to be 5 damage going into it, but Sonic Arrow actually going to prevent it from now, but can either of these two teams really start fighting for it? And the Godfred is going to be hit into the backlane. MDC going to finish the channel, but now the team fight's coming through, and Godfred will get burst down. And there is a Disintegrate going through the backline, but it's not enough. They will take down Mac Daddy on another Disintegrate with the reset. MDC starting to get pretty low. Just needs a little bit more damage, and they will get the reset. Another Disintegrate just for fun, but Icon is going to go down. Infinity Meme going to go down. Faint to Party trying to do what they can, but it's not going to be enough. They had the D-Shield, and that makes it a 4-for-1 in favor of Magnitude Epicenter. And now they're in a really, really solid position. I mean, look at these waves. Look at all these minions on the top side. Look at all these minions in the mid lane. They're going to have these pushed in. They took the Sapper Camp in the bot lane, and it's kind of their oyster right now. They can choose what they want to do. And right now, the call definitely seems to be run to the top lane or run to the boss. And that is what they're going to be doing. Now, I at the very least is going to clear away the minions on the top side. But because of that, 1, 2, and 3 sappers going to land right now. So now it is 11-11. But with this boss, it is going to be 11-7. Now in favor of Magnitude Epicenter for the first time in the game. Actually, I believe they were up 36-32 at some point, but they're in a good spot now. And now they will still be able to clear away this wave on the top side, and they will be able to take this bell tower in their favor. Now, at the same time, I and Godfred are going to be able to retake this bottom bell tower. So it's not all lost for Crit Kickers. They're still going to at least be able to deal 3 damage per altar, but it's still definitely not the position you want to be in. And these top lane zappers also going to get taken down by Magnitude Epicenter. They're going to be ready to go immediately. But 5 seconds until spawn, and Magnitude Epicenter, they know they don't need that much to be able to win the game. Now, MDC is going to start channeling Faint Fire and Godfred looking for it as well, but it does look like they're going to be able to interrupt it. So it is just going to be that 5 damage to 3. As actually it could be a little bit dangerous. If they walk up just a little bit more, they need to prevent these sappers from going forward, and it looks like they will be able to, but actually that was really close for the game ending, and with the Wrecking Ball, they will be able to throw one of them in. So they just need 1 more damage, 1 more sapper to land. That's all that Magnitude Epicenter needs, but it's easier said than done. And they don't have the bottom bell tower, so they can't start playing through those bottom Sappers. The next one's to spawn at the top. It's 2 minutes away. Not Faint to Party. Gonna use that shield glare. They're both just kind of playing into each other. Whoever wins this next fight, if it's a big win, I think just flat out is going to win the game. Neither side really has that much health left in the core. It is just going to be this one altar spawning in the bot side, though, so a little bit safer for Magnitude Epicenter, especially with the boss still being down for 3.5 minutes. So definitely going to be a power play for them. Now they will take the Sapper camp, and now they're going to start pushing with it. And this could be an opportunity for them to, again, retake this bottom bell tower. If they're able to get it for themselves, they're going to be in such a good spot for the rest of this game, but not going to be found quite yet. They're still just slowly walking, but Infinity Meme, so good at just clearing this away. Same with I. They just have so much range. And because of that, not going to be able to accomplish too much with those Sappers. But, you know, at the very least, they were able to take him down. At the very least, crit kickers aren't going to be able to use them against them. But now it is time. The altars are spawning in 13 seconds. And again, crit kickers, they have to fight this. They don't have a choice. They need to get this altar. They need to buy as much time as possible. They have 1 health left on their core. But right now, they do have the first move. They do manage to take control of the brush. As MDC taking a decent amount of poke, but so is Faint to Party. And MDC actually getting quite low. Bunker even going to get forced out. And with the Arcane Orb, they will actually be able to just fully take this. And it's going to be 3 damage hitting the core of Magnitude Epicenter. And now things are getting even tighter, because now Magnitude Epicenter, they also need to start being a little bit worried. Because next fight could definitely end the game for them, as Dragon Arrow is going to land into the backside. And now they have the Shockwave, only lands on 1. Clownface still in Odin. Still able to deal damage over top, but Hogwild going to get burnt as well. And Bones almost gets burst down, but again, no one's going to go down on either side. And we're just going to reset the play, as this time around, crit kickers, they could at least look to start taking this top Bell Tower. And with the damage from Infinity Meme, it is going to be pretty strong. They're already taking it down to half HP. The DPS from Godfred is going to be there as well. But now the rest of Magnitude Epicenter, they are here, and they are looking for those top Sappers. And again, with the Wrecking Ball, if they're able to just toss one over the line, that will win them the game. They don't need many. They just need the one. And the Bell Tower is starting to get low. Staggering Blow is going to land. Now they have the Light Bomb looking for one, but the D-Shield is there. Now Bones throwing Icon, and Icon's going to go down. Faint to Party might be next. Overkill over top, but the passive shield is going to be there. They're still looking. There's 1 more Sapper left, and it will get cleared away. But it's a 2 for nothing. Make that a 3 for nothing. Bunker is going to come out as MDC's at 900 HP. And now they weren't able to win the game there, but 50 seconds on 3. This should be it for Magnitude Epicenter. All they need is one of these 2 altars. And frankly, I don't see how crit kickers can defend this, but they're definitely welcome to try, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing if they can. But 8 seconds left. They're not in position. It is just going to be Infinity Meme and I. Delta Sniper already on the bot side. MDC and Clownface on the other. And Infinity Memes is looking with a Disintegrate, going to get Groundbreaker away. Same with the Warlord's Challenge, and that will be it. Delta Sniper will be able to get that 5 damage, and that will be game number 2 going to Magnitude Epicenter. All right, going to be a very close series from here on out. It is 1-1. Both sides have shown they can definitely win the games. And Fig Double, I assume that's how it's pronounced anyway. The Sapper was thrown, but the Sapper got killed before it landed. So yeah, it did die mid-toss. It was definitely a close attempt, but in the end, didn't really matter. Magnitude Epicenter, they were able to win out in the end. They were able to get a few big team fights, and that's all they needed. But at the same time, crit kickers showing why that Anduin is such a scary pick. Gonna be a little worrisome. I wouldn't be surprised to see them ban away that healer from Icon next game. But for now, we're gonna go to a short break, and when we come back, it'll be game number 3. So don't go anywhere. All right, and we are here for map number 3, Sky Temple between Crit Kickers and Magnitude Epicenter. And I mean, this is going to be the third map, Sky Temple. Definitely a bit of a slower map, but both these two teams have already shown they actually do really like that slow play. They like that kind of style for themselves. But draft's going to begin, and this time around, they're not banning the Stitches, at least not for their first ban. They are banning away the Garrosh. So Bones definitely going to be on a different tank this game, but the question is which one? Dahaka still going to be the choice of bans for Magnitude Epicenter. And I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. There was quite a few plays happening in the last game for it, but also important to note, there were a couple of swaps for Crit Kickers. It's going to be Zloth and Travis Party in this game this time around. And I'm trying to remember who they got swapped out. I know the offlaner got swapped out. Feint Tupari is not going to be in this game. I can't remember who Zloth or Travis Party, who the other player was. I do apologize. It is kind of a long day for me, kind of late. I don't mean any disrespect by that, but Ditches is actually going to stay open. And it is going to be the Uther banned away second, so McDaddio not going to be able to play that. And now the Joanna is going to be banned by Magnitude Epicenter. Now, I'm wondering what Crickers are going to pick. There's still the Stitches that Magnitude Epicenter like. There's still the Chromie. And I'm wondering if they want to just take one of those first pick to just kind of remove that from play. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're just going to lock in the Chromie for Infinity Meme. It's going to be a very strong mage pick. Obviously, it's done wonders for Magnitude Epicenter in their second game. In that first game. But what's the pick going to be this time around? I mean, Tassadar is still available if they do want that for Delta Sniper, but again, with the Stitches available, gonna be fun to see. But it is gonna be the Chen and the Gul'dan instead, and Chen's really good on Sky Temple. This is one of those maps where if you're able to just kind of control an area, if you're able to just kind of make the area your own, it's so difficult for anyone else to really do anything about it. But now Falstad gonna get locked in for I, and Anduin gonna get locked in for Travis Party, and that's the pick. Icon, that's who it was. I'm really sorry about that. Once I saw the Anduin, I just literally see them as the same player at this point. But it's going to be a pretty solid change in picks as well. Let me just update my camera here. I'm so overly... The lighting just was not great. There we go. Now we look a bit better. I don't know why, but the lighting made me look so yellow. I don't have a single yellow light here, so I don't know what's going on with that. But whatever. With that, Anubrak going to be banned away by Magnitude Epicenter as well, just kind of trying to remove that frontline tank. And they did have Godfred playing that Joanna in game number 1. Obviously went to the offlane to play Hogger in game number 2, but missing that, it's going to be a little bit difficult for them. And I'm wondering what engage they're going to try and go with instead. I mean, Diablo is still available if they want to look for that. Muradin, ETC. There's still quite a few tanks left in the pool. Including the Stitches, which I'm still going to keep bringing up. But now with Anduin, it is a bit harder to play the Stitches, just because the Leap of Faith is a very good counter to it. But if you're able to hook the Anduin, then it doesn't really matter. Or if you're able to hook someone that's a bit far from the Anduin, could definitely open up a few options. But it is going to be the Muradin locked in for Bones, and the Greymane locked in for Clownface. Eat more carrots, yeah. No, it's just the camera. I don't know why, but it resets its settings every single day. I'm not sure why. Let's see if I can make it not do that. But with this, we are going to have Zloth. Actually, Godfred going to be playing the Lost Vikings. Not the kind of map that I expected to see it on. And Zloth is going to be main tanking on the ETC. Now, I think for Sky Temple, the Vikings could definitely still be good. Maybe not quite as impactful as on towers, but it is still a very tall map. It is still a very large map. And being able to spread out that little bit of pressure should, in theory, give Crit Kickers a little bit of an advantage, a little bit more leeway and tempo that they can play with compared to Magnitude Epicenter. But Greymane and Gul'dan both really good at taking down those Vikings. And final pick going to be the Kerosene from Magdadio. So they're going to have that really beefy healer, like just so good at taking down those frontline tanks. And they are a little bit squishy on the side of Crit Kickers. Olaf can kind of frontline as one of the Vikings. ETC can frontline as well, but Ando and Fossat Chromie, they need to stay well back. And the rest of the Vikings can definitely be going down quite easy. But the way the drafts are done, we are ready to go, and it's time for game number 3. All right, and we are loading into map number 3, Sky Temple between Crit Kickers and Magnitude Epicenter. And again, both of these teams have really been enjoying this just kind of slow playstyle, kind of trying to emphasize punishing mistakes and only engaging on strong positions. And it's definitely worked out. I mean, there's a reason why both these two teams have made into the semifinals of Div A. But the question is, how much further can they get? What else can they get from this game? Can they try to do some kind of other plays? And the real question is, do they even need to? But with that, it is going to be an interesting lane setup right now. It's going to be Baylog going to the top lane, and Olaf and Eric going to be going to the mid lane for Godfred's Vikings. Well, the rest of Crit Kickers are going to be going to the bot lane. But Magnitude Epicenter, they're going to start with kind of the more standard Storm League play, just kind of the standard Sky Temple play, where they're just going to get as much vision. They're going to try and get this watchtower. But right now, Zloth's just going to be tanking, and they're immediately getting started on this wall. And they should be able to get this cannon tower no problem. But Zloth kind of tanking both. Does take a lot of damage in response. Magdadio going to be here as well, but a slight advantage early on for Crit Kickers, as they're able to get that structural damage for themselves. Now, Magnitude Epicenter is going to be here. They're going to try and clear some of this away, but it's actually going to be 2 players in that top side, Delta Sniper and MDC. Playing together. It's Godfred trying to walk forward with the Baylog, but not going to be able to accomplish too much. But Zloth has the backline, looking for Delta Sniper, able to get the power slide face mount, not going to be there in time. And now Delta Sniper will be able to walk away, and MDC is going to be the next target, trying to drink up, and will be able to, just barely surviving it, as they have been able to take Olaf in the mid lane. And now Clownface and Bones just immediately going to start punishing onto this mid lane wall. And this is Sky Temple, so any kind of structural damage at all, whether it's the wall or the fort itself or the keep, doesn't matter. All of that is going to speed up the game a lot, because these lasers from these temples are going to target whatever is the nearest structure. So if you're able to get just a little bit of poke, that's going to be one less laser hitting onto the gate, onto the wall. It's going to be one more laser hitting onto the fort itself, and that will build meaningful advantages. Now, Clownface is going to take the siege camp over to the right, as Crit Kicker is going to get started on the left, and both sides have also taken their bruiser camps up in that top side as well. So all the camps going to get removed from the map. Temple's still on cooldown. I believe they do spawn at the 3-minute mark or 2.5-minute mark. We're going to find out in 3 seconds. And yeah, it is going to be at that 3-minute mark, so not quite yet. But as I say that, there is going to be a pretty solid push happening here in this bot lane. Crit Kicker is getting some pretty solid value. And again, another Dragon's Breath, just dealing so much damage to these walls. Bone's going to try to tank up a little bit, but Power Slide into the chastise, into the face mount. The heal from Magdadio coming out just in time, though. Bones will be able to stay alive. And at the same time, there's a pretty heavy push happening to the top side. Godfred and I trying to hold it, but these bruisers are incredibly strong. They lose their entire wall, and the bruisers will even be able to get a little bit of damage onto this fort as well. So currently, Magnitude Epicenter definitely going to be in the lead in terms of structural damage, and they're actually gaining a pretty solid lead in terms of experience as well. So really solid play coming out from Magnitude Epicenter in terms of the macro. And that's kind of what I was worried about for the Vikings. This is one of those maps where being able to rotate and being able to just kind of damage onto structures helps out a lot. Now, Olaf can kind of just hold onto this, and we'll get a couple laser shots, but that's all that they're going to get. Just a couple from the top side. MDC still going to be trading with the Olaf. I and Godfred are going to be there as well, but real fight could be happening onto this other temple. Bones and Sloth just kind of trading back and forth, but actually Crit Kicker is going to be able to take advantage and take control of both. Now Delta Sniper is still not grouping in with the team, but now MVC gonna try pushing them away. They're able to find I's going to get stunned up, but no damage to follow up, getting very low, and the explosive cask not gonna be able to find. Sorry, not explosive cask. What is this thing? A Gillian cocktail. Yeah, that's very close. But it is gonna be the top lane taken under control by Magnitude Epicenter, as Crit Kickers will hold the mid lane and should be able to get the last couple lasers. And with that extra hit of 5 will definitely help out quite a bit. But Delta Sniper, in the meanwhile, was just here in the bot lane, just trying to soak up for the team. And I'm actually not sure if they needed to. I think they could have just tried to fight for this instead. But either way, Magnitude Epicenter are going to get the advantage overall because they had that earlier advantage. They're going to be able to finish off the top lane fourth. They're going to get that passive XP. They're going to get those cannons helping it push in. So Magnitude Epicenter will be in a pretty solid spot. And now it is 44 in the bottom. They're looking towards I. And now Bones looking for the stun, but the Stormbolt not going to be able to land. Now Sloth just kind of standing at the front line. Will be able to tank it up, at least for now. But they're looking for more. The Gillian Cocktail not going to be able to bring enough DPS for that kill. But really good play coming out of Magnitude Epicenter. Now Travis Party, at least with the Divine Star, should be able to just heal up the rest of the team. But the Corruption just coming out over top, slowing things down. But the mana bar doesn't really move for Anduin. I genuinely think that's kind of an issue in terms of balance. That's my only problem with Anduin. It seems to be able to just kind of cast Flash, Heal, and Divine Star basically permanently. Not even sure why they bother giving him a mana bar. But either way, I digress. Delta Sniper going to be trying to shove in this mid lane, but Sloth will be zoning it away. I mean, not too much they could do about it. It's just going to be one little minion with just a little bit of health left. So Delta Sniper could probably even auto it, but we'll use the Fell Flame instead. And the two siege camps have been taken. In the meanwhile, they are looking for Clownface. Clownface needs to start running. Chastise will land, but it is on to both. As Sloth is starting to get decently low. Eric is here as well. Just kind of trying to help out. But we'll be able to just run right back into the mid lane. And again, the siege camp is going to get removed, or the siege giant's going to get taken down from the side of Magnitude Epicenter, but could get answered immediately by Magnitude to take down the 1-4 Crit Kickers. Now the Bruiser camp has been started by Clownface, and the next temple is going to be spawning, and it will be spawning over in this bottom lane. Now MDC going to be trying to help a little bit with this Bruiser camp with Clownface. It does need a little bit just to help speed up the kills, but obviously as Greymane should be completely fine just taking it on their own. But level 10's now going to be up for both teams, and again, Crit Kickers going to be the first on this point. And this is kind of where the Vikings are starting to come into play. They're just able to buy a lot of time, a lot of pressure, and the temple's already almost halfway through. So Crit Kickers have kind of already won this objective. But now the question is what's going to come after, because now they're bringing all 5 members down, and now they can kind of group together, and they will still be able to get the bigger half on the side of Magnitude Epicenter, assuming it doesn't get engaged upon by Crit Kickers. And it does seem like it will, because they used Flight from I, and now they're just going to start bringing down this mid lane fort. And this is going to be a lot of damage going the way of Crit Kickers. They're going to get a lot of value from this, but again, at the same time, Delta Sniper actually almost getting taken down by Infinity Meme. Was definitely in a dangerous spot. Pierce Bullet not going to be able to land. MDC is here just trying to buy a little bit of time, trying to clear away these minions. But that's still going to be the mid lane fort going down in favor of Crit Kickers. But Infinity Meme going to be losing this bot lane fort and should be losing their life. The time trap is there. Eric's going to be joining in as well. The stasis lasting forever, but in the end, Infinity Meme still has nowhere to go. The Gust is going to get used up, but the Horrify prevents any kind of follow-up, and now Eric is going to go down. They are looking for Macdadio, but able to jump away just in time, so the Gust is not going to be able to accomplish much. And now Travis Party going to be the next target. Clownface just needs a couple more hits, and with the help of Macdadio, it's going to be a 3-0 in favor of Magnitude Epicenter, and now they can get to work on the boss. We're 7.5 minutes in. This is going to be a major turn for Magnitude Epicenter. They already had a slight lead going forward, 2 forts to 1. But with this, if they're able to get any kind of damage onto the wall, any kind of damage onto potentially even the keep, this can really open up the game for them. And it really means that they can just start playing a lot more passive for the rest of this series, or at least for the rest of the map. But now they're going to have the boss camp and the siege camp pushing on the bot side, and instead they're going to just roam up to the mid lane and start threatening with the corruption, with the Fell Flame, onto this mid lane fort, but now Bones maybe in a bad spot will use the avatar, but now they have the stun onto Sloth. Bones able to jump away, and MVC with the Wandering Keg gonna be able to get the kill. So it's a 1-for-0 play for Magnitude Epicenter. They will be able to hold their mid lane fort for now, but again, the boss still getting so much value down here. They're going to be able to take down a good chunk of this wall. Shouldn't be able to take down all of it, but actually with these Siege Giants might be able to, yeah. Just a couple more hits is all that's necessary. And there it goes. The wall will be gone. That's a lot of damage to the structure of Crit Kickers. And now with this next temple spawning, there's going to be one in the bot lane, one closer to that mid lane. It will be a decent amount of damage. Both should be aiming onto this mid lane fort. And we're just going to watch these lasers get to work. This is really going to open up the map even more. Now, Eric is here for Godfred, but the real engage could be happening down over towards those bot side. Bone's just going to jump over the wall, has that Dwarf Toss ready, so we'll be in a safe place. And even though they're going to be able to get some of these lasers back from the bot side, MDCs should be able to get full value in the top side. And because they did get a good chunk of the lasers from the bot side as well, it's still going to bit by bit give the advantage over to Magnitude Epicenter. And now they will lose their bottom fort with these lasers, but again, at the end of the day, I don't think it bothers them too much. They will get all 5 hits. The mid lane wall is going to be gone. Eric is in a bad spot and should be going down here, but is so fast, so difficult to catch up to. We'll be able to just run it out. Last 5 lasers do hit onto the top lane forward of Magnitude Epicenter, but not going to be able to take it down. So it's still a slight structural advantage to Magnitude Epicenter, and they're going to have that passive push still remaining in the top lane. Now, got to be interesting to see where these next temples spawn. The top lane is the only one that still has a wall for the side of Crit Kickers, whereas every single keep still has its wall for Magnitude Epicenter. They do have an open fort, but it's still quite healthy too, so it can take quite a few hits. And because it is still just the one fort, no matter what temple they do get on the side of Crit Kickers, it will be aiming towards that fort first. But now they're jumping onto Baylog, and Baylog is invulnerable for a bit, but will get taken down by the flying kick from MDC. Now, Eric and Olaf still trying to shove in both bot lane and top lane, but the real pressure is going to be coming out of the top side right now. Magnitude Epicenter, they heard what I said about this wall still being up, and they took that to heart. They're just going to immediately get started on it. And with the corruption and the fell flames, they're going to have a lot of damage to be able to just kind of freely DPS onto it. Sloth going to get hit by the curse bullet as well. Obviously, we'll just get healed up by Travis Party, so not going to be too concerned about that, but this wall is not going to last. Most of it is just going to get taken down immediately, but now they could be looking onto a play. Wandering Keg just bringing Sloth into the backline, but is that the one who you want? Light Bomb is going to be there, only going to land onto MPC. Horrify splitting the fight up in 2, as now Olaf is still in the backside. I and Sloth both getting jumped upon, but neither one is able to really get pressured down. But now in the meanwhile, Eric actually getting a decent amount of value down here in the bot lane as well. It's still slow. It's still just 1 out of 3 Vikings, but it's still also the minions shoving in. Now, MDC did reset and we'll be dealing with that, but because of that, they're going to be missing a pretty crucial member for these next temple fights. There are 2 temples here, one in the mid lane, one in the top side. And as of now, Magnitude Epicenter, they just kind of have to give away pressure on both. Now, Olaf's still playing forward Sloth as well, but neither side's able to get that fight started. And with that, they are looking for this mid lane temple. They're already going to get started on it. And they're going to send Baylog up to the top side. And now the fight is going to be breaking through. Infinity Meme going to go into stasis. Zoloth is still in the front there, but it's actually going to be Delta Sniper who's going to be the first to go down. And now the Avatar going to get popped from Bones. Still looking for Infinity Meme, but again, they're going to be able to protect them. And now Light Bomb not going to be able to land onto everyone. They're going to lose the Olaf. But again, the Gust just going to be immediately coming through. Godfred still standing in the front on the Olaf. Should be going down here. One more hit from Mac Daddy was going to be enough. So it is 2/3 to 1 so far. Wandering Keg just splitting off this frontline tank. Zloth just not going to be in the fight. But do they have the DPS? And now the Moshpit lands on a 3 with the Chastise and so much DPS coming out over top. But no one's able to go down quite yet. Mac Daddy still alive. Clownface still alive. MDC still trading. But it is going to be a winning fight going for the Crit Kickers, despite only having that 1 kill. So really well played for the side of Crit Kickers. And again, the reward is going to be both of these temples. They still have to go through the wall, so they're not going to be able to take down any keeps yet, but it is going to be a lot of damage to those keeps done by Magnitude Epicenter. Now the 5 lasers will hit, so actually the mid lane wall not even going to get taken down in its entirety. Still a decent amount of lasers left on the top side, but the boss is available, and that's what Magnitude Epicenter they want to go for. They know that the Vikings are still on the top side. They're already down to half HP. This will definitely be the next fight. And in terms of the heroics, Magnitude Epicenter definitely have more available. Stormbolt gonna get used. They're trying to buy some space. Wandering Keg is available. Gust is as well. And the Wandering Keg is gonna be better. The Gust tried its best, but it's not enough. Bones is gonna get taken down quite low, but will survive. The Avatar has been popped as well. Stormbolt will land, but it's just on his Sloth. But now they have the Horrify, they have the Time Trap as well, and Sloth will be in a good spot, will be able to just run away. As MDC trying to dive onto the backline. Sloth, no more Mosh Pit, not going to be able to use it for this fight. Still on cooldown for 20 more seconds. And now the boss is going to be crashing in this boss side. They haven't been able to touch it at all, and it's already reached this fort. And now this is where things are going to get serious. They could lose this keep here depending on how this goes. And right now, it's definitely seeming that way. The Corruption of the Fell Flame dealing so much damage. The boss still at half HP. So they will be losing this bot lane keep, but will be a little bit of pressure, passive pressure going for Magnitude Epicenter as they're starting to get close to level 20. And now they have the jump on his Sloth, but Leap of Faith going to keep them alive. Wandering Keg not able to split up the fight as Godfred with Eric is going to start coming in from behind, but not going to be able to find the play. The Siege Camp is going to be the reward on the way out. They will get the keep. They will steal away a Siege Camp, but again, Godfred just kind of pushing in the top lane and the mid lane. Balog and Olaf still able to get pressure across the map, but I think Magnitude Epicenter, considering that they've got the keep, are willing to take that trade. As long as Balog doesn't get too much value up here. And right now, there's a pretty large wave with the cannon as well, so could definitely get something here. As Bones is going to start grouping up, but it's just going to be MDC and Delta Sniper here to clear. Pretty solid damage onto this keep, all things said and done. So it's not going to last too much longer. And next temple on the top side for Crit Kickers will definitely be able to take it down in just a few lasers. But now Olaf is still, or sorry, Balog still able to scout them, just kind of hiding in the brush. And MacDaddio very close to the brush, but not going to be able to walk in yet. As now MacDaddio, they're really not walking in. They're all right past it, and Balog sees everything. This is actually so much information, but instead they're going to take down Eric. Definitely not the Viking that I expected to see taken down, but going to be the one that's going to be removed instead. Play again is available, so Eric can be right back into the game if they need it. And there is just that one temple, and right now Bones is the one that gets at least the first few lasers going into Crit Kickers. And now they will try to retake the area. They got another 2 lasers hit onto that mid lane keep. And MDC just trying to shield the team, kind of playing that pseudo support. And now Sloth trying to play in the front. All the heroics are available. They're able to get the stun. And Sloth is starting to get pretty low as well. But the wind wall comes out from Crit Kicker's eye, just kind of trying to separate the fight. But Olaf is the first to go. Now they have the fear, and Sloth is going to be gone. They had the extra stun onto Eye as well. And with that, they will have that kill, and they're going to have these lasers just pressing into the final base. But now Bones is still looking forward, looking for Eye, but the Stormbolt gonna get dodged away. So they're in a pretty good spot here. In theory, if they find one more pick, they could even threaten to end the game. They have a massive wave in the top side, and without Sloth in the front line, it's so difficult for Crit Kickers to actually do anything about it. Now this top lane keep is gone, so the lasers are gonna start hitting onto the core, but I believe it's just those last 5 left. So how much more damage can they get onto it? Bones, they are looking to end. They already have their camp here. They have the cleanse coming through for Bones as well, and they've already gone past the shield. MDC just standing in the front. We'll have the Wandering Keg up in just half a second, and right now just kind of tanking as much damage as possible, but it doesn't look like they have the angles. Loth is going to be up in 10 seconds. They don't want to risk it, but actually, as I say that, I going to get hit into the backline and just immediately deleted by Magnitude Epicenter. The Wandering Keg able to split the fight into 2, and they're able to find the squishy. Now Clownface is getting jumped upon by the Vikings, but again, with these talents that they have, they can definitely take them down pretty quickly. Just needs a little bit more damage, but they're running so fast. Eric is so fast, but Balog instead gonna get taken down over in that top lane. And play again has already been used, so Balog is down for 60 seconds. And Eric will need a reset to rejoin the fight, but it's still going to be pretty difficult for them, as now Zlov going to be running in, and now the cleanse is there. Same with the Horrify to prevent the mosh pit, and now Zlov is starting to get really low. Will get taken down. Leap of Faith not there in time, but the trait is going to come through. They have that second encore coming through, but Bones with the Avatar not going to get taken down. Godfred going to lose on the Olaf as well. And now all three keeps are gone. Another wave has joined. Stormbolt does land on a Travis party, but I think it's more than enough magnitude to Epicenter. They're going to zone them away, and they're going to win game number 3. And really well played by Magnitude Epicenter. And that's just kind of how this map is played. They get the early lead, and then they just kind of play safe. And I got to give credit to Crit Kickers. They got a really solid play. They got a really solid pick-off, and it was their only kill of the game, but it gave them 2 full temples and basically brought back the advantage entirely that Magnitude Epicenter got. But to their credit, they played a great macro game. They took the boss, and what looked like an advantage for Crit Kickers ended up being an even bigger play for Magnitude Epicenter. And they used that advantage to quickly get the bottom keep, and from there on out just played safe until they were able to cleanly close out the game. Now again, this is the best of 5, so we're still not done. Magnitude Epicenter on match point, but we're going to go to short break, and when we come back, it'll be game number 4, so don't go anywhere. right, and we are here with map number 4, Alterac Pass for Crit Kickers. Oh, sorry, versus Magnitude Epicenter. And now this is going to be a pretty big map, both literally and figuratively, because I mean, Alterac Pass is just a very massive map in terms of area, but at the same time, this is match point for Magnitude Epicenter. If they're able to just win one more map, if they're able to win this one, they are going to the finals. And that's going to be very big for this organization and very big for this roster specifically. Now, I will say it is starting to get a little bit late, so I am going to go a little bit quieter now just for this 4th game. I do live in an apartment now, so they're usually pretty good with me being loud, but once it gets near quiet hours, just to be respectful, they're meeting me halfway. I feel like I should be doing the exact same to them. But now the draft has already come through. Chromie gonna get picked for Crit Kickers. Dahaka gonna get, sorry, not picked, gonna get banned by Crit Kickers. Same with the Stitches. So they did allow it in map number 3, but especially on Alterac Pass, it's such a strong pick. They're just gonna make sure it's completely out of the game. Now Dahaka and Anubrak still gonna be up for Magnitude Epicenter, are still gonna get removed by Magnitude Epicenter as well. And Omster, I'm doing pretty well. Glad to hear you had a fun cast. No spoilers. I'm sure a lot of people here in this chat are definitely going to be looking forward to watching that replay after, but looks like it was I'm glad you had a good day. Judging by the length of time, it was definitely a close series, so good on you. But now with that, the Junkrat going to get locked in immediately by Infinity Meme, but Tassadar going to be the answer for Delta Sniper, and this time they didn't ban away the Garrosh. The Bones still going to be able to get that done. And now Tychus gonna get locked in for I, and still gonna be waiting for that next pick. Now Tychus is a pretty strong pick overall in team fights, but not gonna get too much value out of that minigun, at least not against Garrosh. Maybe if MDC will go again into one of those big bruisers, has played the Blaze, that would be a pretty solid pick. So gonna be pretty interesting to see how that goes through, but Godfred with Joanna still available, gonna be locking that in for themselves. So that should be a pretty solid team comp so far from Crit Kickers. It is a little bit interesting that they did pick their 2 DPSs, and I should mention Nullius has been swapped into the game this time, so they will be having Nullius be playing in that off lane. Just another swap, so Crit Kickers definitely having a pretty large roster, and they're planning on utilizing all of it. But finally, Magnitude Epicenter will finally ban away the Anduin. It did incredible things in all 3 games, even if Crit Kickers ended up losing 2 of them. I think Travis Party and Icon before them played extremely well on this Anduin, so not surprising to see it getting banned away, and frankly, I'm kind of glad it is, because that's been kind of really destroying Magnitude Epicenter. But in response, the Uther getting it banned away by the Crit Kickers. Just going to be keeping Mac Daddy-O off of it. And speaking of other picks, I mean, with Tychus getting locked in for I, Clownface has played it twice. Did play the Greyman in the last game and will be locking it in this game. But both MDC on the Sonya and Clownface on Greyman, they're going to be really good at taking out these siege camps once they do spawn later on in the game. So pretty solid pickups for them. They're going to have a lot of damage in these team fights, as the final 2 picks going to be the Oriole for Travis Hardy and the Blaze for Nullius. So it does look like they're trying to do a little bit of a death ball composition on Crit Kickers, and for Alterac Pass that definitely can be a good response, but a little bit surprising to me that they did end up picking the Vikings. Godfred played really well on that in the last game. But oh, Zloth, that's who Nullius swapped in for. Zloth, there we go. Yeah, it's getting late for me. I've been casting since noon, so it's already been quite a long day. So I apologize if I start saying strange things. Most likely it'll just be gibberish, so don't you worry. But Mac Daddy-O gonna lock in the Kerosene for the 10th pick, and played really well in the last game. And into this double front line of Joanna Blaze. Technically it is an offlane Blaze, but let's be real, Blaze is still very much a tank. So having that 7-sided strike is definitely going to provide a lot of frontline DPS. Pair that with a Cursed Bullet from Clownface, and they could definitely melt through them. But either way, the drafts are done. Let's head into game number 4. Or apparently, I'm going to use the wrong scene transition. And that's exactly what I'm talking about with terms of it getting a little bit late. But you know what? We're here. It's fine. All is well. And we're getting set up. We are on map number 4 between Crit Kickers and Magnitude Epicenter. Alterac pass, and if Magnitude Epicenter are able to win this game, they're going to be going directly into the finals. But if Crit Kickers are able to bring it back, we're going to be going straight into map number 5. And I mean, that's what makes these best of 5s so much fun. Whoever's able to take that big lead for themselves, they're just not necessarily going to be able to win the game, because the more maps you add, the more volatility there is, and the more consistency is needed to be able to come out as the overall victor. But now, once again, it is going to be the Psy Storm build coming out of Delta Sniper, and I make a big deal to point it out just because it is something that does swap. I've seen Delta Sniper play quite a few different builds. The fact that it's just kind of sitting on that concussion mine. Waiting to be knocked backwards, but whatever. McDaddy's still going to be holding onto it for the team, just kind of showing them where it is. And they're still not going to be proccing it yet, but it is going to be 4 in the middle lane. Godfrey just kind of tanking the damage. And now the Condemn will actually land on a 4. The concussion mine just going to knock them right back instead. Now, I and Bones, they're going to start roaming down to the bot lane. Both should be able to reach it, so there's not going to be any missed soak. But Bones is able to get the inside track, and I, because of that, will, instead of getting the soak from one of the minions, we'll just get the mini orb. So slight advantage to Magnitude Epicenter, but now instead they're going to be able to get the Wrecking Ball. They're still looking over to the backline. Godfrey's starting to get extremely low, and they're able to get another knock of the Groundbreaker from Bones, but just not enough damage to follow up. They do have their Grey Mane Clownface over in the mid lane, and now going to be roaming over for that siege camp, but the siege camp has already been started by Travis Party and Infinity Meme, but Clownface actually deals about as much damage as both of them put together, and so with MacDaddio coming in to help, it should be pretty even timings on these siege camps. Now Infinity Meme already going to take it, and just a few seconds later, or actually it's going to be a decent bit later, about 10 to 15 seconds after, but they're still going to be able to get it. They're still going to be able to proc it before that siege camp's able to hit onto their wall. And depending on the setup, it might even be good for Magnitude Epicenter, because now they can cleanly clear these out, push out the wave. It's a bit too far for Crit Kickers to step forward, and then they can start threatening with their own siege minions. But with Godfrey here, with the range they have from I and Infinity Meme, it is going to be a little bit dangerous. But now the concussion mine is still up. Infinity Meme just kind of knocked the siege camp right back by a little bit more time. Let them do a little bit more poke, as now Payment Strike going to keep Bones off of Godfrey. Now Wrecking Ball is going to be used. No more Iron Skin is available. But again, another concussion mine just going to keep Godfrey safe. There's not going to be too much push potential available for them. And now with that, MVC actually going to be grouping into the mid lane with the rest of the team. And McDaniel's getting super low, but not going to get taken down there. Clownface just trying to auto as much as possible, but with the blind from the shield glare, there's just nowhere for Clownface to really bring out the DPS. Now the prisoner camp is going to be spawning. MDC going to be trying to catch a little bit of the soak over on the top side. We'll get most of it. I did have to get a couple of those mini orbs instead, but the way slight advantage right now with overall experience in favor of Magnitude Epicenter, but at this point it's so close that it could just be waves bouncing back and forth. We may as well just call them completely even. But now with that, the camp is now available, but neither side really in a position to start playing for it. MDC now spinning to win, able to win out a little bit on that trade with Nullius, and with the Ancient Spear actually gonna get good damage to Nullius done as well. It is the Seismic Slam build coming out from MDC, so really good for front to back compositions. And considering it is a Death Ball comp with the Joanna, the Oriel, the Blaze, something like that is going to be extremely effective. Now they are going to get the siege camp on the side of Magnitude Epicenter, while Travis Party is just kind of waiting to lock theirs in for Crit Kickers. Level 7 is up for both these teams, so they're already on their third talent. Has the Gillian or Cocktail. What is this? Yeah, Gilnean Cocktail gonna get thrown by Clownface. Just doing a little bit of damage to the structures and to the people behind it. But now they're getting a lot of pressure in the mid lane. They're looking for the siege camp and could definitely start threatening to press in with theirs. Tatum Strike going to land onto MacDaddio, but again, no real threat of follow-up, just trying to prevent their siege camp from getting taken down. These Knolls are very strong. Once they're able to reach onto the wall itself, I mean, look at that damage. Only able to get 2 hits, but it's still going to add up. And with a -8 armor, with those grenades coming out from Infinity insanity meme. It does add up. It does give that little bit of extra damage. And in the end, every little bit adds up. And All-Track Pass is one of those maps where if you're able to get a solid structural advantage, it is hard to come back on the other side. And now they're going to immediately be looking to start channeling onto this. Now Concussion Mine is on the point. Magdaddio probably going to get knocked backwards, but I not even need to use the Concussion Mine yet. That's kind of the difficulty of facing that Junkrat. It's just so easy to interrupt onto these points, so easy to just keep the other team off of it. But now Bones going to take a decent amount of poke damage. Godfred just with a Condemn able to force him in very close to the rest of the team. FBC still using that Seismic Slam up in the top side, but going to get collapsed on now. Use the Ancient Spear onto Godfred, but now the Condemn is going to be there. The Taming Strike gonna be coming out, but not going to be able to catch MDC out entirely. They will be forced to reset. They are quite low from that play. But I think with the camps being where they are, it could actually work in favor of Magnitude Epicenter to send MDC over to the bot lane. But they're just going to let the Sign come right back to the top. It's Magdaddio and IE just going to be trading a little bit back and forth. And the Psy Storm dealing so much damage to these structures as well. Now Bones is going to be trying to go for the camp. IE is here, but a little bit too late. So that is going to be the capture getting started. They're already working on the point. They have their heroics available. And now at the same time, it is easy for them to prevent that channel from being started. But now that it has been begun, it's difficult for Crit Kickers to walk up and cancel it. It's difficult for them at the same time. Now Rip Tower going to get thrown out just for damage, going to hit the backline and actually going to land on a 3. That's pretty big. And now Bones kind of completely split off from the team, going to get taken down. 1.1 seconds left. So very close for Magnitude Epicenter, but now Crit Kickers could be in a position to start contesting onto their own point. Now Delta Sniper just trying to buy as much time as possible as IE dashes in forward. They have the Condemn on the Delta Sniper, but it's not enough. Clownface again just trying to buy time. Bones will be back up soon, so they can definitely try contesting this. The Delta Sniper will be forced to tap if that's even available. And, the way it looks, Delta Sniper is not able to tap quite yet. So it is going to be on the team to try and defend it. Now Clownface trying to buy a little bit of time. They're looking on to Godfrey. They have the Black Hole coming out just to split up the fight, but they have a lot of unstoppables available, and they use the Odin as well. But in the end, they're still going to be able to retake onto the site. They're still going to be able to retake onto this prisoner camp. And it's really going to be on the Crit Kickers to try and use this Odin to maybe get it back in their favor. But Magnitude Epicenter, they're spacing extremely well. They're just kind of taking a little bit of poke from the Odin, but not that much. And with the Odin gone, it will definitely be difficult for Magnitude or for Crit Kickers to continue pressing onto this. But 14 seconds left for Crit Kickers, just 1.1 left from Magnitude Epicenter. And the siege camps are available, and Clownface immediately going to get started on that. As MDC again in a bad spot, but we'll be able to just back away and just going to start spinning to winning. A Groundbreaker used by Bones. And since they are on the camp, they are sending 2. They will be able to retake onto this. I know this is where things are going to get really difficult. Magnitude Epicenter, if they want this, they need to go now. And Clownface is on the way. 5 seconds left. Someone needs to start channeling onto it. Clownface just trying to buy some time as the Condemn will land, and Bones going to be the first kill going over. And with the Riptide, they're able to separate the fight. MDC trying to buy the time, but it's not going to happen. The Taming Strike lands, and the leap just in time. MDC is going to be able to survive. Has the Divine Palm over top, so it's actually not even going to be that 7-sided strike, but the Cavalry have arrived, and Crit Kickers, they're going to be able to get a lot of pressure with this. Now, it is still just the first prisoner camp, so maybe not going to be able to get as much value out of it as one of those later game Cavalries, but because it goes into all 3 lanes, they're going to be able to get something. They've already gotten a decent amount of damage onto these structures here in the mid lane, and I'm sure they'll be able to get even more. Now this wall, it looks like it's going to be completely taken down. Not going to lose the fort, at least not from this cavalry. They will be able to clear that out. But now they're aiming towards MDC. They already have the stun. They already have the blind. The Taming Strike going to land, and MDC just getting fully stunned up into the walls. Just nowhere for them to go. MDC going to be able to get that kill for themselves. As now Magnitude Epicenter, they will be coming back in time. They will be able to defend this fort for now. But again, it's going to be a bad spot for them. Crit Kickers getting a massive advantage just by getting that 1 prisoner camp. Now, the last cavalry is going to go down over in the bot lane, but again, so much damage onto this fort as well. And IE looks to keep going. And with the rest of the team here, Crit Kickers, they should be able to get their first fort down, as IE starting to get pretty low bones. Could be looking for the play. Travis Party tanking on the fort as well. So this is just going to be a lot of pressure going into them. Iron Skin going to get forced out as well. So because they went for the kill instead of the fort, they're actually not going to get either. So really good rotation for Magnitude Epicenter as well, as again, just another shock ray, another side storm coming out from Delta Sniper. Not going to be able to get the kill, but meanwhile, in the back door, Nelly is going to be able to get the first structure of the game. Magdaddy is getting jumped upon. They have the shield glare, and it is 3v4 in the bot lane, so it is a little bit dangerous for Magnitude Epicenter. But they are still cleaning up their siege camps consistently. They are still going to be getting at least a little bit of XP from there. And as they manage to lock theirs in, Infinity Meme and Travis Party going to get started on theirs on the left side of the map. Now the boss is available, and they are pinging onto it on the side of Magnitude. But they are hesitating to start it. Clownface is going to be here as well, but most of Quick Kickers is going to be running right back in. They will look to find them. They have Nellius over to the back room. They have the taunt as well, but they're able to get into the bunker, and now they're still aiming for Nellius, but the damage just isn't there. Riptire coming out from behind, looking for NDC and Clownface, taking down about a quarter HP. It's going to be a little bit rough for them, but they were able to survive. They were able to just back away, but in the end of the day, really not much going to either of these two teams. But Magnitude Epicenter, they're going to group around the boss and immediately going to get started on it again. But Infinity Meme going to be trying to scout it out. They have the concussion mine as well. Odin going to get popped. And this is another power point for IE. Leap still going to be on cooldown for 25 more seconds. All they have is the Curse Bullet. Detainment Strike going to be coming in, just trying to split up the fight. Delta Sniper starting to get a little bit lower from the backside, but should be able to just heal back up. And again, Magnitude Epicenter, they're just going to back out for a bit. They don't necessarily need to press forward. Their heroics are going to be up pretty soon. They forced out the Odin, and now it's going to be back on cooldown. And with the Psystorm, this is incredibly low. This cannon tower is almost entirely gone. And I mean, Magnitude Epicenter, they can just keep recycling this play. There's no reason for them to kind of stop forcing onto it. They already got the structures. They got the wall. Force wall dealing quite a bit of damage as well. Clownface, again, just going to get started on the boss. Nellius is still playing over in the offlane, just trying to get some soak for the team. And they're about to hit level 16, so this is something that Magnitude Epicenter, they need to get hits quickly, but now the talent here is going to come through. This is where the power spike is there for Crate Kickers, but the lead is going to land onto the backside, but instead the black hole going to get dodged away by I. Riptire splitting the fight into two and actually going to be able to take down Delta Sniper. And we see super low Divine Palm is going to come out into play, but again, another win for Crate Kickers. It's a 1-0, and now they can get started on the boss. And without Delta Sniper, they don't have any damage to poke them off. They don't have any engage. The leap is on cooldown. The Crate Kickers will definitely be able to take this and could immediately get started over on this objective as well, this prisoner camp. And with this lead that they already have, they're definitely looking like they do want to send us over to that game number 5 and have a nice late night here for everyone involved. But I mean, right now, Crate Kickers, they're bringing in good value. They're bringing in good pressure, good push. And IE even going to be using that overkill and the grenade onto that fort. But now the channel has been done. Infinity Meme has already started onto this point. And again, the Odin now back off cooldown. IE is going to be able to bring in quite a bit of extra pressure for the team. So Crate Kickers, they're in a good spot. They're going to start pressing out as much as they can. And there's still no level 16 for Magnitude Epicenter. So this should be a pretty free objective for them. As that's going on, the boss will finish off that bot lane fort, and we'll be able to get a decent sized stomp onto this bot lane wall as well. So they will get a solid advantage there. They will get a decent amount of that structure down. And again, Magnitude Epicenter, they're not even going to try to contest this. They're just going to get set up and look to defend for this next set of cavalry. And now this is where the real fight's going to be coming through. Magnitude Epicenter, like, I know for a fact this is a team that does not like playing late, but due to schedules, they are kind of forced to do so. And these best of 5s going all 5 games, it's definitely going to be a difficult spot for them. Assuming they do go all 5 games, because in theory, they could just try and win it here if they're able to do this. Now, they are going to be looking for the play over in the middle of this. And now they will start clearing away this mid lane cavalry. Another concussion mine not going to be able to find its way onto anyone, but the cavalry is pretty strong. And the overkill over top, IE just trying to find that angle. But this mid lane fort will go down, but the cavalry should follow it. But in the meanwhile, the ones in the bot lane, in the top lane, they're all still quite healthy. So just going to start working its way through the gate and through these cannon towers. So that's going to be most of this bot lane wall gone. Most of this top lane wall gone as well. So Crit Kickers getting, again, even more massive advantages just from that one objective. Now Magdadio positioning over into the front. Bones still looking for a play, but they're able to kind of position in ways where there's no one for Bones to really throw to the back line. And now this is where stuff really gets difficult for them. They will be able to clear this away. They will be able to get their own siege camp. At least that's not going to get stolen away by Crit Kickers, but Crit Kickers have a massive advantage already. Level and a half lead. All 3 forts already gone as Magnitude Epicenter. They want something back, so they're going to start aiming towards this top lane boss, but they're going to get started on it immediately. But Crit Kickers, they're already on their way. If they're able to take it down fast enough, maybe Magnitude Epicenter could be in a good spot, but it doesn't seem like they will. Godfred immediately going to walk forward and going to get thrown back with the Wrecking Ball, but even with that, it's going to be difficult. Red Tyrant landing in the back line, and now the lead also going to land, and now it's just going to be Bones and Nullius, but the Black Hole actually going to be there in time, but Magdadio gets taken down in the back line. The bunker is there, but the boss will still get finished off by Magnitude Epicenter, but at what cost? MBC still alive. Delta Sniper going to get finished off. It's a 4-0 in favor of Crit Kickers. That's a massive team fight for them to win, but because they lost the boss, they're not going to be able to get too much out of it. But the prisoners are spawning in 30 seconds. There is a wave in mid that they could play through as they look to start getting some kind of victory from that team fight. Now, they also have a wave over in the bot lane, but MDC could be matching it. But again, it's dangerous because if MDC tries spinning to win on that wave, Kickers is just going to roam down, take down MDC, and start pushing through that wave as well. Instead, they're going to start aiming through the mid lane. They're getting good value out of it. And now they're going to start looking for this mid lane keep. The boss lane, meanwhile, was cleared away by IE. So that's no longer going to be threatening them. They did not lose their top fort at all. And this is just going to be a clean victory for Crit Kickers in terms of that last trade. They're level 20 now to level 17 of Magnitude Epicenter. Over 2 level lead. I mean, 2.5 levels right now. They're in an insane advantage point right now. Now the siege camp is going to get started by Magnitude Epicenter. It doesn't look like they're even going to be able to do it. Leave going to get used by MVC, but it was in place. Now Jet Propulsion over top with the Rip Tire landing on 3. Now Divine Palm is going to be there for Bones, but not going to get proc. So that's going to be another waste of cooldown coming through. And again, Magnitude Epicenter, they did have to give away the point. They were able to retake it a little bit, but it's level 20, level 18. This is still going to be a difficult fight. Now Odin going to get popped by IE, but they're still looking for Godfrey. But the Crystal Age just comes out, and look at that big red button. Going to be able to take down 3, and it's just NBC still trying to stay alive. But again, it's a 4-0, and this is Alterac, so it is going to be difficult, but this could be an angle for them to end. Now, the big red button, they will be able to take this mid lane keep at least, but they will definitely need at least a second one. But they do have a large wave over in the bot lane if they do want it. So it's going to be fun to see where they do decide to rotate. Right now, IE just going to get started on that top lane. As while they're doing that, MVC is still channeling onto this cavalry. So it does look like we are going to be going over to game number 5. Crit Kickers in an absolutely excellent place to be able to end this game. Now, it is going to be just 1 keep remaining. And even that is going to be getting threatened here. The wave is already approaching. That final cannon tower is going to go down. And now it's time to aim for that final keep. I think Magnitude Epicenter, they're just a little bit too far behind. They still don't have their level 20s. And they have to defend with all 3 keeps down. The waves shoving in. And over top of that, there's going to be cavalry. Now this is where the games are really going to start heading forward. And it doesn't look like they're planning on playing aggressive on the side of Crit Kickers. They just want to wait for the cavalry to arrive and maybe even just play straight through these objectives because they don't need to threaten anything else until then. Jet Propulsion is going to land. Now it's going to get knocked into the back line. Has the bunker coming through. Rip Tire as well. Actually blocked by the force wall, funnily enough, but we'll still be able to land, and we'll still be able to land pretty far into the team. Bones actually going to get taken down quite low. Almost gets taken down, but Leave going to miss onto everyone. And with all 3 of these here, NBC's going to go down. MacDaddy's going to go down. And game number 4 going the way of Crit Kickers. So we're going to a game number 5. And another, well, actually this game wasn't quite as close. Crit Kickers took an early lead and they were able to just hold on to it, but Junkrat is such a strong pick on Alterac pass, and especially with the way these games are going. I mean, that was a perfect game actually from Crit Kickers. They didn't have a single death. They didn't lose a single structure. Yeah, that was a perfect game from Crit Kickers. They just were able to perform extremely well. They had the team fights in their hands. 1 or 2 was all they needed to take a massive advantage, and it looks like that break really helped Crit Kickers and kind of hurt Magnitude Epicenter. But either way, we are going to be going to a game number 5, so we're going to go to another short break, and when we come back, it will be the decider. So don't go anywhere. We have one more map remaining. All right, and we are back for the 5th and final game. And since I need to be a little bit quieter anyway, I decided, you know what? I don't need the extra energy from standing up. I'm just going to enjoy my nice, comfortable seat instead. But map number 5 is going to be that Garden of Terror. So another pretty large map. Garden of Terror does kind of require a little bit more fighting potentially, though, because there's no boss. The only kind of big objectives you can get are going to be those seeds that are going to be sprouting around the map, and this is the map that's going to decide everything. Whoever wins this is going to be able to win the entire series and is going to go to the finals of Division A. And I mean, with the way Magnitude Epicenter started the season and the way that it was continuing for them, I mean, it's still a really good showing for them to hit the top 4. But I think with the way they've played near the end of the season and especially during the playoffs, this is going to be something that they definitely want to be able to win, especially since they did have that 2-1 lead. But draft's going to be going pretty quickly. It is still going to be the Stitches and the Chromie banned away by Crit Kickers, but this time around, Bone's going to be locking in the Joanna first. And with Junkrat and Dahaka banned away by Magnitude Epicenter, gonna force a couple different picks coming out from Crit Kickers. So it's still gonna be the Tychus and Ariel. It did work pretty well for them last game. But again, Tychus doesn't get quite as much value into Joanna as maybe some of the other tanks. So, but still going to be pretty interesting. Still definitely going to be an opportunity for them, as I just realized I'm slightly off center there. Hopefully this makes it a little bit better. Yeah, it should be fine. And it's going to be Ragnaros picked for Delta Sniper, by the way, and Asmodan for MDC. So, just because of the heroes and the way that they've set them up, kind of wondering if this is a 1-3-1 setup or Magnitude Epicenter. But now it is time for the next phase of bans, and I'm sure that Crit Kickers are going to be a little bit confused with this. Magnitude Epicenter has brought up some really interesting picks here, but Uther are going to be banned away from MacDaddio. And actually kind of interesting to me that they didn't try to take the Uther themselves earlier on. I don't think Ragnaros or Asmodan would have been banned away. They definitely could have pushed that later, unless there's a different healer that they are looking towards. Obviously, there's still going to be the white main available. MacDaddio definitely plays that, really enjoys that, but Karazin's also available if they want that again. MacDaddio is 1-1 on that, but Lost Vikings will be banned, so unfortunately Hoku not going to be played this game around, but this would also be the absolute best time to pick the Artanis. Now, not that I expect either of these two teams to really do that, especially game number 5 of playoffs on Garden of Terror would be a little bit of an interesting pick to say the least. But either way, the last few picks should be on the way here, or at least the next 2 coming out from Crit Kickers. They already have a DPS and a healer, but it's going to be ETC for Godfred and Leoric for Nullius. Now, Magnitude Epicenter, if they want that triple frontline, they could definitely go for it. Malthael would actually be quite strong here. And with Oriole, it is typically that Deathball composition, and Malthael is really good into those. I'm not sure if any of them play it, and their draft is already kind of on the more of the wild end, I would say. I think that's the best way to put it. So would be shocked to see it there, but could be a good game for it. But instead, it's going to be Clownface locking the Hanzo and the white main locked in for MacDaddio, kind of how I expected. So with that, gonna be fun at Rock. I'm definitely not trying to send too many strays, but I don't know why. It's always fun teasing Hoku for the Artanis pick. But I mean, at the same time, I wish I had as pure excitement for those picks as Hoku does. So it's all in good fun here. But now, speaking of interesting picks, 5th game and the Maiev finally going to be coming out of Infinity Meme now. The Maiev definitely needs some time to scale in terms of DPS. So Tychus is going to be kind of their main source of damage, at least early to mid game. But the amount of pressure that they're able to get, if they're able to get onto the backlane, Ragnaros is quite squishy. So could definitely be taken down early. But this is it. This was our final draft, and it's time for game number 5 to see who's the champion. All right, and here we are. Map number 5, Garden of Terror, between Crit Kickers and Magnitude Epicenter. Winner of this game will be winning the entire series. And big shout outs to everyone in chat for still staying up and watching this game. I do apologize, I can't be a bit louder, but again, I don't get kicked out of my apartment, and I do have neighbors. And they are pretty kind. They haven't complained considering how loud I do yell normally during the day, so I want to make sure not to abuse their goodwill and not try to get too loud as it does get later into the night. But I'll try to keep it energetic either way, despite kind of doing a loud whisper for this. But either way, both teams going to be grouping up into the mid lane. And immediate scatter shot, 4 stacks just off the bat. The defending me looking over Ryan, able to pull back to his land face. Needs to back away, but will be fine for now, as the trading now going to be going back and forth. And interestingly enough, it is going to be free. So this is going to be for that push from Power. Now the Condemn does land onto 4 as Bones. And Infinity means both starting to get low. Scattershot going to land again. And I mean, 9 stacks of simple geometry at 30 seconds. I don't think you can ask for more on a Hanzo. And once those 2 extra shots do start coming in, that's where things are really going to be getting fun there. Now already at 26 stacks on the Greed, on the Annihilation as well. So this Asmodan is definitely going to be scaling later on as well. And now the Condemn is going to land on the 4 Godfrey. Going to take a decent amount of damage. Clanface just really bringing in the DPS. And again, already on to 10 stacks. I know I'm kind of being a broken record right now, but just the speed at which they're stacking right now is really strong for Magnitude Epicenter. And now there is going to be 3 stacks of progress. I believe this is a regen globe. So it is going to be adding that extra help, and eventually we'll be able to heal kind of the team as well. It's not going to be too much, but it does add up, and especially when you have that death ball composition with Oriole, it's just going to be even more AoE health for the entire team. And now Nullius is going to be using the Drain Hope on a Bones, not really in too much of a threat, still going to be able to finish off the wave. Clanface going to get started on one of the siege camps, but right now the camp's definitely favoring Crit Kickers. They're already taking down their siege camp. They even have the Bruiser camp already shoving into the bot side. Magnitude Epicenter, they need to answer this, so they're going to start taking structural damage. But Bones is here, MBC is here, and still slowly but surely trying to stack up. And how do you even stack this up? It's all about Annihilation. How do you even get this one? Hitting a hero or killing a minion within 1.5 seconds. Okay. But because of that, Clanface is actually going to get jumped in the top side and will get finished off. So first blood going over to Infinity Meme, as now Delta Sniper tries to walk forward, has the Living Meteor, and able to actually kind of chase down Godfrey the entire way through. But this is going to be a bit of a dangerous spot for them. This could also be an opportunity for Magnitude Epicenter to try and fight back. Bones is here, Magdaddy is here, Delta Sniper's here. The Asmodan should be in range, but it is just going to be a fully stolen Bruiser camp for Crit Kickers. They are starting to play really fast in this 5th and final game. Confidence is definitely there, but I think one important thing to note about this game is there's going to be a lot of scaling and a lot of macro opportunities on the side of Magnitude Epicenter. Now Delta Sniper will be able to clear away this Bruising camp without losing too much in terms of damage onto the fort, but it's just going to be that extra experience, which does matter, but it's not as important. Now with this, Godfrey going to be able to just take this point, but with the Globe of Annihilation just coming in over top, Godfrey just going to be interrupted a couple times. Scattershot going to be able to land as well. Bones just going to be walking forward with that shield glare as well, and another stack of Globe of Annihilation just going to land. So they are buying quite a bit of time, and Bones still walking up. The Aim Strike lands, and actually Bones goes a little bit too far. We'll get taken down, so it is going to be first seed going to Crit Kickers, and the second kill as well. They do hit their level 7 off that play, and now they could look to threaten on one of these things. Right now, Infinity Meme is pushing in with these siege camps over in the top side. Delta Sniper definitely going to be a little bit scared to walk up. The Emerald Bind is available. Godfrey and Travis Party are on the way here as well. Living Meteor is kind of the only play that Delta Sniper does have, but Magnetic now going to be here, but Powerlight is going to land, and they're going to aim for this white main, and this white main is actually still surviving out of mana now, is able to use every single stack of that plea, I believe it's called. Yeah, no, Desperation, so it is Desperate Plea. Gonna use every stack, but will somehow survive. I mean, I think most other healers there will get absolutely devastated, but either way, that is going to be Magdaddio late to the play, and Bones is going to be walking up. Iron Skin going to be forced out. But this should still be the second seed going the way of Crit Kickers. Though Bones going to be walking forward now. They will land the Sonic Arrow as well onto IE, just kind of to get that vision, just to kind of get that positioning. And now they're even going to use that trait to kind of buy even more time. And actually the damage really starting to add up. The scatter shots are going to be landing as well from Clownface. And I gave a lot of, I get a lot of the praise over to Clownface for getting those 9 stacks early on, but now sitting on 12 because they just haven't really been fighting. Scatter shot not even going to be able to land onto the wall. Infinity Meme actually taking a decent amount of poke damage. Armor Bind's looking towards it, but now Godfrey going to be joining in as well. And they're still looking for the play, but with the final scatter shot, that is going to be a kill going the way of Clownface. And it is going to be an Infinity Meme taken out. So it is 5v4 right now. Both sides level 8 Detainment Strike going to land as Bones going to get hit as well. And Magneto trying to keep them alive, but is starting to run low on mana. And with that, Nellius should be able to get it. But again, the Sonic Wave, Global Annihilation, just buying more and more time. But Bones is going to be resetting. Scattershot not going to be able to land, but will at least be able to finish the quest. That is going to be the second seed going the way of Crit Kickers. The Magnitude Epicenter still not able to find the fight that they wanted. But with the draft that they're going, especially with it being Greed for the Asmodan, I don't think they're really going for team fights. I think what their plan is to just delay as long as possible. And I presume it is going to be Demonic Invasion coming in for MDC for that level 10. And with that Demonic Invasion, should definitely be able to get some really solid value. Should definitely be able to get a lot of damage onto these forts and structures later on. I'm sorry, but the next set of camps has already spawned. Crickers will be able to take their siege camp as Magnitude Epicenter gonna start looking for theirs now. But it looks like Crickers, they want to invade. They won't be able to steal away the siege camp, but Bones gonna take a little bit of damage on the way out. But level 10s, the heroics are gonna be available for Magnitude Epicenter. And it is going to be the Demonic Invasion. Dragon Arrow going to land over top, but it is just going to be onto the tank. They have the Condemn as well. Blessed Shield burn. But right now the Containment Disc is onto Magdadio. Magdadio definitely going to be the target and will be the first and only player to go down in that fight. Now Bones still trying to retake the area. Global Annihilation's there, but now the Entomb. Bones is in a bad spot and will get taken down as well. It's a 2-0 for Crickets. They're going to be able to take this seed as well. And now it will be the Garden Terrors coming through. Now Demonic Invasion is just going to get used on the one in the mid lane. And they will be able to clear out the mid pretty quickly. But the issue is they use Demonic Invasion. They use the trait for Delta Sniper. They use the Molten Core. And now they're still going to have all these Garden Terrors shoving into the top side, shoving into the bot side. So it's going to be a little bit of a difficult spot for Magnitude Epicenter to defend. And especially after that, they still need to try and get some kind of offensive play. They need to get some kind of offensive value, but right now they're just not able to get it. And now with that, they will be able to take down these structures. Bones still looking to play forward, but not going to be able to find the angle. And despite the Garden Terror not doing too much, Nullius has been shoving in through that mid lane, got a little bit of damage onto that mid lane fort. As now Magnitude Epicenter, they want to rotate back up. They want to try and defend this as another Global Annihilation going to land. Them not going to find anyone else, but that's still going to be their mid lane fort taking down a half HP. But the fact that all of their forts are still alive is actually a pretty good sign for Magnitude Epicenter. It means they didn't lose quite as much as they could. They're not going to have any of that passive pressure. They did lose all of their walls, I believe. So one issue will be is that Crit Kickers can push the waves in further than Magnitude Epicenter can. So they're going to be able to apply pressure that way. They're going to be able to get a little bit more space that way for themselves into the jungle. But Cruiser Camp is going to get finished off here by Magnitude Epicenter. Godfrey look for the play, but now Blessed Shield is going to land on it too. But Bones just going to be using that to kind of slow down the play, kind of prevent the push coming in from Crit Kickers. Because level 13 is available, and with his Bruiser Camp here as well, it's definitely dodge leveling that they want to try to play with. And now the Lava Wave going to be coming in through the mid lane. We'll be able to press this out, and if timed correctly, should be able to kill the next wave, and there it is. Both waves going to immediately get taken down. But now with the level 13s, with the Odin, they're going to start pressuring onto this top lane fort. It is still 4v4. Containment Disc actually lands in the back line, and this is Magdadio. This is a perfect target. Mosh Pit as well. Umbral Bind, but now Crimson Aegis is going to buy quite a bit of space. Now Infinity Meme could be left behind, and Infinity Meme will have the Crystal Aegis. Will buy a little bit of time, will try to jump away, and actually is still alive, but will eventually go down. Molten Core as well. And Godfrey does have the Mosh Pit happening in the backline, but there's just no one involved with the damage. Wolves is still playing forward, tries to get that slow. And again, the Molten Core just really helping out. It's a 2-0 in favor of Magnitude Epicenter, but the siege cap was just hitting onto that fort that entire time. So it will still be the fort for 2 kills. But the seed is now available, and there's still 20 or 10 seconds on the Maiev and 20 on the ETC. So this will be the first seed of the game going over to Magnitude Epicenter. And again, their push power later on into the game is scary. And I think that's one thing that they do need to be a little bit concerned about on the side of Crit Kickers. Because if they're able to be given a little bit of time, if they're able to be given a little bit of space, they will take those structures down. And even right now without the Asmodan, that's how fast they were able to take down the wall. So losing another fight like that, it cannot happen for Crit Kickers, especially with the seeds. And now slowly but surely getting stacked up onto Magnitude Epicenter. It looks like the Asmodan had a little bit of time with that bot lane fort as well. So if MDC is able to get another demonic invasion in 15 seconds onto that fort, that should be going down there. As again, more globes of annihilation getting thrown down. And now this quest is definitely going to help out quite a bit. Getting that extra length on All Shall Burn is definitely going to help out for the siege. It's going to allow MDC to kind of approach to those forts a little bit better. Now level 16 still not available for either of these two teams, but Crit Kickers are getting close to it. But right now the push power definitely happening over towards the bot lane, but Delta Sniper needs to be careful. Could be getting jumped into the mid lane. Now Dragon Arrow is going to land, but it's only going to hit onto Godfrey. Definitely that's not the play they want to make. The MDC is going to get hit into the Entomb, but Magdadio is going to be here as well, just going to keep them healthy. And Containment Disc again gonna get tossed and will land onto Magdadio. And now will be silenced. Crimson Aegis is there. Umbral Bind as well though. But the Condemn lands on a point. Godfrey gets taken down super low. Has to back away. And it is going to be 0 players going down, but Crit Kickers definitely have the inside track. They definitely have the health advantage for this play. They have level 16s, which are about to get matched, but may not be matched in time. Cloudface is actually going to get slowed down, going to be forced to jump over the wall. And that's going to be the first seed for the second set, going the way of Crit Kickers. But again, the experience lead has all but vanished from Crit Kickers after all those fights, after all those macro plays. But because of that, they're looking to play a bit more aggressively. They are aiming towards this siege camp over on the top side. I don't think that Magnitude Epicenter can really defend into this. They're just going to have to give it away. And hopefully MDC is not going to face check it, but MDC going to be able to see that ping go down just in time. It could have actually been pretty bad if MDC started rotating up a bit earlier, but I mean, that's just one of those things. You don't know where the team is. Sometimes they're right next to you. Like Crit Kickers, they're gonna go right back out. They just wanted the camp for the XP. They don't really care about pushing in with it, and they will come back to take their own left camp. And now this is where things are gonna get interesting, because the Bruiser camp is gonna get started by Magnitude Epicenter, but one potential issue is that this is where the seed is gonna be spawning as well. Now there is only 1 fort advantage. The bottom fort did get taken down in the end. I'm not sure how that happened, but it's gonna be a lane where Magnitude Epicenter are gonna have a passive push in their favor. And now Godfrey starting to get a little bit behind the team. Bone's going to be able to scout out Infinity Meme as well, so Clownface needs to be careful. And now with the Emerald Bind, they're going to be able to pull it back, and the Mosh Pit as well. They will be able to take them down. That Molten Core is there, trying to buy a little bit of space and time, but Magdadio is going to be alone, but there's no one here but Nullius for the damage, and Nullius actually taking quite a bit of DPS. Will be in a bad spot. And they should be able to take down the seed, but again, the Molten Core buying so much time. And in the meanwhile, this Bruiser camp shoving in top, this minion camp in the bot lane getting a lot of value as well. So that will be the second seed going to Crit Kickers. As just for fun, another Globe of Annihilation is going to land. But a little bit more damage dealt to the structures of Crit Kickers. Now, I do think that they would want a little bit more on the side of Magnitude Epicenter, but they just haven't really had the chance to play forward and to just kind of abuse the fact that they have such a strong push on their team. They've only had the 1-1 team fight, and they weren't able to get too much out of it. But now the siege camp is going to get stolen by crit kickers. Delta Sniper going to have to try and clear this away. As crit kickers, again, they're just going to steal it, take the experience, and back away and take their own camp. They're just kind of playing very cleanly and, as per their style, pretty slowly. They did play slightly aggressively to steal those camps, but again, those were all calculated plays. They knew they had the advantage, they knew they had the better positioning, and that's why they took those fights. And once again, this seed is going to be spawning in a very dangerous location for Magnitude Epicenter. And the way they're positioning, it looks like they may not even want to fight it. NBC is going to try pushing out the top side with all shell burn, but there's no one here to contest onto it. So Travis Party will be able to get the push in. And this is where things are going to get, once again, pretty dangerous for Magnitude Epicenter, because now this is a 15-minute Garden Terrorist push. And these are going to be a lot stronger, a lot tankier. Now this bottom fort is definitely going to go down, but how much more value can they get? The overkill is going to be getting used at the same time. Now the top lane fort did go down. NPC was at least able to secure that, but Demonic Invasion was used, and this Garden Terror is still quite healthy. And now they have the Bruiser camp here as well. Lava Wave going to buy quite a bit of space. So at the very least, they will be able to clear away most of this. And the Garden Terror is now going to be moving over to the mid lane. Crit kickers, they're getting ready for it. Globe of Annihilation going to land as a quest is going to be completed. It's going to be Vigorous Altar. So it's going to be that second charge. Level 20 is now going to be hit. For Crit kickers, Containment Disc does land. And how much more can they get for it? Molten Core is going to be coming out of Delta Sniper. He's going to buy a little bit of time. Going to deal quite a bit of damage as well. As a Condemned, not going to be able to bring back Nullius. The Rage Walk is going to be there in time. And Delta Sniper immediately gets sent out of it. Actually, I believe that was just the DPS coming through. Like Daddy just trying to buy some space, trying to get a little bit of poke, but with Odin there, it's so difficult to push this out. Big red button dealing so much damage to Structure. Now the Condemn is going to land on the 2. Blessed Shield is available, but not going to pull the trigger there. And it is going to be the mid lane keep going down in favor of crit kickers. And now with that, the push is still going to be coming through. Level 20 is now going to get matched by Magnitude Epicenter. The Bones is trying to walk in, but they are going to have that Entomb. It is going to silence, but Bones not going to be the main target that they want, but it will be enough pressure to take that siege camp in favor of crit kickers. So once again, they're just kind of roaming around, grabbing these camps, and just going to be waiting for the next season. I mean, I don't blame them. I don't think there's any reason for them to really try and fight Magnitude Epicenter, because they know that once a seed spawns, they can get into the position first, and there's really nothing Magnitude Epicenter can do about it. They're just not really a teamfight-oriented composition right now.
Is set to sprout.
Now the seed is going to be spawning in 25 seconds, and Magnitude Epicenter do have one. If they can get the Garden Terrors in their own hands, with the push power that they do have with their team composition, they can definitely get some really solid value. And now it is level 20, so it is going to be that double lava wave. So Lava Surge is going to be available. Much shorter cooldown, able to hold on to 2 charges, so I can kind of get max value out of those abilities. But again, Infinity Meme pushing in that mid lane, they're going to steal that bottom siege camp as well at the same time. Now, Magnitude Epicenter, they want to get this seed. If they're able to get it, would definitely be a massive play for them, as Lava Wave is going to be going through the bot lane, so they will be able to kind of remove some of that pressure. But now, Godfred going to be going in and has the Mosh Pit onto 2. They have no way of interrupting it, and that's going to be a 2-for-0 immediately to start the fight. Bones still trying to stay alive in the middle of the team. Iron Skin already going to be burned. And now Infinity Meme with the big red button, looking to try and catch on to more. But Bones just buying enough time. But the Entomb is going to land, and they're going to be able to take down Bones. Now Molten Core is going to come through as Travis Party going to get pretty low. But again, this is a late game Oriole already at 13 stacks for the Holy Reservoir. So this is or Reservoir of Hope. So this is just going to be it, and I think they did it. Crit Kickers with this, with that last team fight, they're going to be able to just march it right in. They're going to start working on the core. Delta Sniper and MGC, I don't think there's enough that they can do. Power Slide even going to land on Delta Sniper. They're just going to take down this Ragnarok. It is 5v1, and despite almost getting it, they're not going to be able to. Crit Kickers, they had the first seed. They're going to prove why they had it, and they are going to be going over to the finals. Gonna be a very close series here, but Crit Kickers, they were still able to come out on top. Massive, massive top massive best of 5 series coming through here. Sorry, it is getting a little bit late for me here too. But I mean, in the end, Magnitude Epicenter, they put up such a good fight. They even had that 2-1 lead going into game 4, but after that break, it was just all Crit Kickers. They were able to just consistently have that lead for themselves. They were just consistently able to win out on those fights, and it was more than enough to get that victory. Now, I'm going to see if I can get an interview going. We'll see if any of the players are going to be down, but I may as well give it a go. Give me one moment as I do ping them, but in the meanwhile, you can see my pretty face as I do get that set up. Wow, I cannot type today. There we go. Yeah, but either way, in case no one else does join, thanks all for coming. I mean, this was an absolutely lovely match to play. I do wish I could have gotten a little bit higher energy as I usually do, but I mean, you know how it is. For anyone here that is new, that's only just kind of coming in for the last second, actually, I'll bring that back later because we do have someone for the interview. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
All right, and for everyone in chat, I am joined here by Icon from Crit Kickers, who did play the healer role at the end in I believe, the first 2 games or the first 3?
2.
First 2 games, yeah, okay. I mean, congratulations on your win, and this was a very close-fought victory. How do you feel?
It was a close fought victory. They were somebody that we had to really respect and scout. Going into the set, we knew we had actually scrimmed them a couple weeks back, and they actually took it from us. And we had to reevaluate things going forward when we played against them. And yeah, so I'd say relieved would be the word of the day.
I mean, yeah, relief's definitely going to be a pretty big feeling after a win like that, but I mean, I think the main things I want to talk about is a little bit about the draft, because it definitely seemed like into Magnitude Epicenter, you wanted to get rid of the Chromie, you wanted to get rid of the Stitches, the Garrosh, and the Uther, but you only had 2 bans. So how did you kind of just try to play around that?
We didn't the second and third game. We kind of got inside our heads, and I think we had a couple drafting errors. You're right; they do have a lot of strong power picks. Mac Daddy is a hell of a healer. Um, my applause to him because he really put us in a bind. You can't ban the dude out. He's always going to have something there. But we knew his Uther was strong. Um, and I believe that if I would have continued playing, we would have saw more Brightwing bans, putting me on some of my weaker healers. So we decided to put my number 1 student Travis Party in. Um, uh, there also is a lot of other things that need to be dealt with. Their Chromie is good. Their Hanzo player is ridiculous. Um, I just can't ban it all. Unfortunately, this game needs more bans, but we'll see what the janitor decides to do.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, in the end, you were still able to come out on top. And do you think it was the fact that you were able to just kind of rotate players, kind of get what you need? Or do you think it was just kind of the gameplay itself that really lended this 3-2 victory?
I think we have a lot of strong players that play a lot of strong heroes. Not everybody plays everything. So, in our humble opinion, it's good to rotate in and out. Get people in that have fresh mind. You know, I took a little bit of a beating on the end to win against the Garage one game too. So I don't mind sitting out and letting Travis come in. Um, uh, it's it's always that mental aspect of having that fresh body there with motivation to just pick everybody else up.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely worked out in your favor. I think at the end of the day, that's what matters. It's one of those things where you never know what's going to end up working, what's not. But uh, clearly, your strategy worked out here. But right before the semifinals, we did have a new patch come out. Now, did that change a lot for your team?
Yes, there are some things that we are terrified of seeing. We didn't know if that was going to be brought to light tonight or not. Um, but there were, yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
There's some
definitely
things that
not
we
going to
need to.
ask you to reveal your team secrets before the finals. That would be very irresponsible of me. So,
Yeah, there are some things that we consider to be busted, broken OP, and we are very glad that we didn't see it at the moment.
all right. And now, with that, you are going to be going to the finals, and you're going to be facing Came from Behind, who, pure to their name, went from 7th seed to the grand finals. So, what are your thoughts on that opponent?
We played them before. They gave us a very tough match. I believe I'd have to actually look. I don't want to misquote whether they took a map off of us or not. But I do know that we did win. But that does not say what they have grown to become because I've been watching their games. We're going to go back and rewatch their games. We're going to scout the living daylights out of them. And if they have power picks, they're going to get banned.
Well, so does that mean that everyone in chat needs to make sure to watch that game once it gets scheduled?
Yes, I want to see. I want to see massive numbers. I want to see HGC final level numbers watching the finals.
You hear that? Bring all your friends. Tell them to bring all their friends. We need to get this up in the thousands for the Div A grand finals. I mean, we're gonna make it a grand, you know. But
No, Came from behind is a very strong team. They've changed a lot since the last time we played them, and I can't wait to see the challenge they bring to us.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna
'Cause
be fun
at
to
the end of the
watch.
day, if you're not facing strong people, what's the point of playing?
Exactly. You want to earn that grand final spot. You want to earn that championship, and playing strong teams is the best way to make sure that you truly feel like you earned it. At least that's my humble opinion. That's how I've always looked at it.
I couldn't agree more.
But now, thanks for the interview. But got one final question for you. Are there any shout outs you'd like to give, and is there anything you'd like to say to all your fans out there?
If we have fans, keep cheering us on. I'd like to shout out Noor and his Discord for cheering us on. They have provided us with scrims that have been crucial to being able to help improve because we can not only scrim them, we can sit there and talk about, hey, what did you do to push us in this way, this way, this way after the scrim, which I think not just having the scrim, but having the feedback helps us bring us better together. So for him and his Discord to do that for us, I can't thank them enough. I also would like to shout out you, Toki, and Omster for casting 95% of the games, as well as all the other casters that have casted a lot of the games for NGS. And I'd like to shout out NGS in general just for having this and allowing us to have this arena to play in.
All right, really well said. Well, congratulations again on your 3-2 victory. Good luck in the finals, and you have yourself a good night.
You too. Thank you.
All right, and with that, I will be wrapping things up here shortly. But before I go, if you like this stream, definitely be sure to check me out on my own channel, twitch.tv/Tokibi. Kind of like Icon said at the end, if you're new here, I cast a lot of games. I believe this season I have over 80. So definitely going to be coming up next in the next season. And if you would like to join, go to nexusgamingseries.org. I believe link is down below. So just give it a look. A lot of people are still playing Heroes of the Storm. It is alive and well, and the janitor has been blessing us with many new patches. We've been getting one basically every single month, including some new talents. So the hopium is high in the community, and there isn't a better time to join than right now. So be sure to join the Discord. Be sure to look at the website, and now is the best time to start looking for a team between the seasons. But with that, I was Tokibi. Thank you all for watching, and maybe see you tomorrow, but I'll definitely be seeing you soon for some more NGS action. Take care and have a good night.